over the red light of the audio recorder,
Yeah.
we will toast our mushrooms and our marshmallows.
Our Mary Jane shrooms.
You guys are making your own mushrooms now. Growing your own mushrooms now, huh?
Yeah, we do fun mushroom kits. We also, that's
guy,
as close
mushroom kits.
As close as you're to growing our own. We definitely, when we would go hiking, when the weather was warmer or after a rain in like April or something, we would go foraging. So that was fun, like finding them in the forest and actually washing them and cooking them ourselves. And we haven't gotten sick. We're still alive. But the kids are fun. The kids are a lot of fun.
We're about to harvest our lion's mane.
Lion's mane, yes. Last time was oyster, and this time is lion's mane.
Which is like a little furry nugget that has nootropic abilities to make your brain work better.
Ooh, I want a brain that works good.
I would love that. Actually, I just, Sanjay Gupta has a new book out about the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, like, so basically what I'm doing now is at least once a week, but I want to do it more. I read about a topic that I totally don't care about at all, or that I don't like, or that I'm just not interested in. Because he said, you know how people say you use 10% of your brain?
Yes.
Well, he said that it's not, he says kind of like that, but he's like, say you have 1,000 roads in your brain. It's like you regularly use maybe 100. You know, there's like 50 that you go down all the time. There's maybe like 25 more that you visit sometimes. And then there's like 25 more you rarely visit. But like you have 900 other roads you never go down, and they atrophy over time. So if you don't try to go down those roads, they will just disappear. And then you start losing it as you become older. So it's like, if you do something or learn something, try something, read something that you've never really been interested in before, and you stimulate your brain, it's like you're driving down an additional one of those roads, and it helps you, your brain like age slower. So you won't forget that, you know how like, I don't know what age it is that people start to just like, they're like, oh, I'm losing my mind. Like, not literally, but...
25 now. The age has changed. Now, if you're in your 20s, you are mentally a 60-year-old because of the world.
Well, I have a feeling your memory and your brain capacity for this challenge is going to be pretty good.
Well, we have to introduce the show.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm not I wasn't diving right in, but that was kind of my segue. But thanks for just crashing my boat.
That was Reena's tease.
I thought you wanted to always have a nice intro. I was just bringing us a nice intro.
I appreciate it. Yes, Sessions with Mary Jane.
Sessions with Mary Jane.
Sessions with Mary Jane.
With our guest today,
Lia
actress,
Russo.
comedian, business owner, entrepreneur, podcast host, Lia Russo.
Yeah, she's a multi-dimensional individual, multi-level threat.
Future billionaire.
Queen of all trades.
Thank you. I consider myself a sex symbol. And I'm like a mogul, you know.
Yeah. That might play into the topic at today's hand also.
So, yeah, your challenge is...
Wait, before we tell you it. No, wait, do we ask how she's feeling before we get the challenge?
Oh, sure, if you want to do that.
How you feeling? I know we asked you before we started recording, but on the record, how do you feel about the challenge and about the...
I'm feeling excited.
Cool.
That I'm here. And I mean that in a lot of different ways. Like, that I'm here in the room, that I'm here in the state, that I'm here on the earth, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just happy to be here. And, yeah, I feel okay. I feel rageful toward certain people, but we don't have to get into that.
Do you feel a little bit more relaxed now, though?
Yes, I do. Yes, especially in my feet.
Yes.
You know what's weird? That candy bar that you gave me, that I've never had this happen to me before because of weed, but when I take that sometimes, I can hear, like, I hallucinate sounds, not images.
I get that.
But, like,
I get that.
I don't know if it's the strain he used or whatever, but, like, it hasn't happened to me before with any other type, and I realized that I could hear, like, I was in my bedroom, and if I opened my door, that it would be, like, outside, like a busy street. Like, I could hear, like, beeping and cars and, like, people and stuff like that, and then I would hear, even when I was alone, like, I would hear a roommate, like, I would hear someone just, like, in the kitchen doing things. One time I heard growling next to my bed. I was like, but I have to tell myself, like, it's not, like, it's the weed.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. But then I'm like, what if there was something going on? I would just, someone would be breaking into my room, and I would just be like, oh, this,
It's a weed when there's an actual burglar.
It's funny you should say that, because, like, when I was in college and, like, the peak of my weed smoking started, we would smoke weed in our bathroom, which was, like, in between a double, and then on the other side of the bathroom was another double and another double. So there were, like, 8 people in 4 separate rooms that all connected to the same bathroom in the middle, and we would smoke weed in there. But I definitely got that all the time, where I would be like, holy shit, is somebody knocking? Are the RAs here? Holy fuck. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, nah, like, somebody just, like, came into their room. Like, they just got done with class. They come in to, like, brush their teeth. They're just like, what are you spazzing out about, Jordan?
Yeah, I've definitely hallucinated scenarios happening where, like, one specifically, I remember, like this is, like, one of the first times I got really, really high by myself, and I was, like, by myself, and I thought I heard a noise, and all of a sudden I look out the window, and I don't know whether I hallucinated this or if it really happened, but a cop car with, like, the lights flashing drove by, and all of a sudden I imagined this entire very detailed scenario of, like, oh my god, the police are here, they're gonna get me, but my mom is gonna open the door, and she's a good mom, so she won't let them come get me, so she's gonna stop them, but wait, now they're arresting my mom, and I just, like, sat there, like, totally still because I was worried that my mom had been arrested, and then I just, like, shouted down to the stairs, and then she was very confused, but also very aware of why I was acting the way I was.
You had a daydream.
It was at night,
It was
though.
just... Oh, but you were awake. But
Yeah.
but I didn't want to go full nightmare, because
Yeah.
you weren't dreaming.
Right.
You were just hallucinating.
Just hallucinating.
That's what we're getting
Just
to.
thinking a lot,
So, anyway, back to
Back
that
to
was a
reality.
great- that was a
Equals
great
gravity.
tangent.
I'm
Your
really,
challenge. Oh yes.
I'm really fixated on Brendan's hair right now. So I want to talk about
his
it.
the hair on his head.
How does it look?
Go
His
on.
Yes, the hair on his head.
mustache
Hang out.
looks like a French
I thought you were
nail.
implying something else. I was like,
Armpit
No.
hair?
Oh gosh, no.
yes, Brendan, armpit hair.
Alright.
Yeah, your hair is getting quite long.
Yeah.
So, okay, I love it. It reminds me of, like, a 90s sitcom.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
The
Like, that
part.
that was definitely...
I said Jessie from.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh.
That was what I was thinking.
Sorry.
You look. You
I
have
stole
no.
your
That's
moment.
okay.
I
It's
stole
okay.
your moment.
Wait, like Uncle Jesse from Full House?
Yeah.
What other Jessie is there?
Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell? Next
Ooh.
question.
But you definitely don't have curly blonde hair.
That's true. Brown hair, but who's
Next
who?
question.
But yeah. Good, Reena. That was a good impression of me. But thank you. That's a high compliment. I can't see what my hair looks like, so I have no idea.
You ever looked in a mirror? What do you
Not
mean?
once.
You don't know.
You ever looked in a mirror?
Because Brendan is a space ghost. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a reflection.
Ooh,
Oh
space
my god, it makes
ghosts.
so much sense.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never taken a picture of him. It's never coming out.
Yeah.
Like just the hologram
Yeah.
that surrounds him.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I do feel like
that was a vampire.
I feel like if I did look in the mirror and I saw no reflection, I'd be like a little surprised at first, and then I would just get over it and then just move on.
That would freak me out.
No, I definitely wouldn't move on. It would be.
But what do you
something I would
mean?
obsess over.
Brendan, wait, we have to we gotta unpack that. Why would not concern you if you didn't see your reflection?
Like I would probably write a note to like look into it later, and then and then probably forget
It's a
about
sticky
it.
note on the mirror, and you read the note.
Yeah.
Look in mirror, and you look in the mirror. There's still nothing there, and you're like, why don't you just leave another sticky note?
Yeah.
You always postpone it. You're always gonna get back to it the next day.
Yeah, but speaking of postponing, we
That's
shall no
frightening.
longer postpone the challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, she's trying to get her way out of this. I see what's going on here. Okay,
No, we just need some foreplay before we go with the challenge. You can't just go
I
into
get
the
straight to the
challenge.
sex. She's a sex model. You have to. Your words, not mine.
No, I think she said sex
She
icon.
said sex icon.
Okay,
I said
sex icon.
symbol.
Sex symbol.
symbol.
We all got it wrong.
Except for her.
Okay. Sorry, my apologies. List. You have to list as many as you can. First ladies.
Oh no.
In the spirit of President's Day, too.
Mm-hmm.
Hoot
Oh my
hoot.
god. Okay, Jackie.
Full
did-
name. Full name. You gotta say full name.
Full name at one point. For all
Not
of these
initial.
people.
You don't even include the initial.
Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy Onassis.
Yeah.
See, that was way too much.
That was.
I would have only been able to do like 2 out of 4 of those names.
Yeah. We did anticipate that Jackie would probably be the first one because we know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we know about your love for the Kennedys and your
Yes.
all things Kennedy is all about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did that come from, may I ask?
Well, I think for a while, all I basically knew was the very, very basic stuff that you just grow up knowing. Like, he was the president, he was assassinated, like, Jackie, fashion, like, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was one year, because every year on the anniversary of the assassination, the History Channel shows 1 million JFK documentaries, like, all week, just one after the other after the other.
Right.
And one year I remember just turning it on and kind of being captivated by, like, a speech or something like that. And I was like, wow, like, I was, like, 12 or 13. I was like, that's so true. That makes so much sense. And then I just got hooked and I watched all of them, but it wasn't the assassination. Like, people ask me all the time because everyone knows I'm obsessed with them and that I know a lot about them. They'll ask me, like, well, what's your opinion on the assassination? And that's the thing I care to talk about the least. Like, there are so many other things to me that are super interesting about them. So, even in assassination documentaries, they'll show a few clips of speeches or of something, and that was the stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, that's, like, I just loved their speeches. Especially, Bobby is my favorite. I mean, I love Jack as well, but, like,
Yeah.
Bobby is my my husband.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great couple. Both not objects. sex
Symbols.
icons. I know symbol. Yeah.
Sex symbols. Get it right.
What do you think about RFK Jr.?
I think that some of the things that he says are dangerous, but I also respect him for having his own platform, I guess, and investigation into certain things, because people say that he's anti-vax, and he's really not. He's just very, he's just very cautious about them and wants to expose negative things that have been done. And, he's very anti-big business, big pharma, all that kind of stuff. And he's just he wants people to think twice about the things that they consume, basically. But, I mean, I feel like someone who's the child of Bobby could not possibly be doing the wrong thing on this earth.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I just think, like...
Do you feel that overshadows your judgment?
Maybe. I mean, well, the thing is, I do try to take every person at face value from what they specifically are doing. But the thing is, like, I can't really imagine being the child of Bobby specifically, because... Any time you're not fighting for equality and, making the minimum wage higher and things like that, it's like, how could you not be carrying on this legacy? Like, what are you?
I can't imagine being any Kennedy child.
Yeah.
That's just
Even Ted's.
That's just a huge weight. Plus, their family's definitely been tainted. They definitely do not have a great track record for living sons. That was a very poor way of saying it, but that's like...
Are you aware you have a bad track record of living children?
Oh dear God, it's a comedy podcast, but we have to restrain ourselves.
That's a good thing to say over and over. Just when things get dark, you say it's a comedy
But
podcast.
Jordan, are you not a fan of him? Is that why you asked?
No,
Like,
people were saying that he's like getting banned off of platforms and stuff for like
that's
being
true, yes.
against the vaccine or whatever, because people want everybody to get the vaccine because like we need to defeat coronavirus. But I also think there is something about it where like a lot of people who are like the children of leftists become very like corporate and centrist. As if like their parents weren't able to succeed with what they wanted, and their parents got killed, or their parents got threatened, or their parents were exiled their whole lives, and they were like, oh, I could be like my parents, or I could be successful. And they're just like, I want to be rich and successful because my parents always fought and were always angry about how people called them socialists and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because like Kamala's dad was a socialist, Pete Buttigieg's dad was a socialist, and they're both centrist as hell. So like maybe JFK Jr. is QAnon, you know?
No.
No.
Oh my god. Where's this going? Ah, there it is.
It all ends in QAnon.
But just to take it back to Jackie for a second, another question because I'm curious. Who is your favorite portrayal of her? Like, which actress? Who do you think did, or who's your favorite, or did the best job, however you want to phrase it. But, yeah, played Jackie the best.
I have not yet seen a portrayal of Jackie that I
That you're
found
satisfied with?
particularly compelling. I really like the movie Jackie. Like, I love that movie, and Natalie Portman does a fantastic job acting, but she, to me, is not Jackie. Like, people, you know, I've heard so many people say, oh my god, I can't believe how phenomenal she was so much like her, and I don't think that she was a lot like her. I honestly don't.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
And
I still have to watch it.
And the other thing that pisses me off about that is because I love Bobby, he's my favorite, and Bobby in that movie is played by Peter Sarsgaard.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know that it's like, you would never know that it's Bobby. Again, I think Peter Sarsgaard's a phenomenal actor, but he was not the right choice for Bobby Kennedy.
No,
He doesn't even, he speaks
yeah.
exactly like Peter Sarsgaard speaks. He doesn't even, I mean, I guess a slight accent, but I mean, Bobby had such a distinct, thick accent, and there's this miniseries called The Kennedys,
Yeah.
where Barry Pepper plays Bobby, and like, it's almost too over the top, like it's almost like too like cartoony, but it's better because you would never, if you just randomly turned on the TV and didn't even see Kennedy's, and you saw him walk into the room and start talking, you'd be like, oh, that's Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not that you have to do an impression. Like, I respect Natalie's interpretation of the character, and I think so many scenes in that movie are framed so perfectly that you don't really need her to be like Jackie. To me, it's still a catharsis for me to watch it, as far as everything that went on.
Yeah.
Like, I love the way that they show little things and little moments. Like, they show her in the shower after the assassination because she was covered in blood and everything like that, and they show her like trying to get undressed in the White House and take off, you know, her stockings and take off her shoes and, you know, all that kind of stuff, and her getting in the shower and stuff, because that really fascinates me, because you read so many things, but you don't actually know what it's like on the day that your husband gets shot right next to you, and literally his brains were in her hands, you know what I mean? Like, things like that. What does that do to a person, you know?
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. I've watched the movie several times. I'll definitely watch it again. I think it's one of the best things that's been done. One of the best narrative.
Yeah. Do you think a part of the reason why the portrayal hit you the way it did is because the Jackie that we get in the movie is not the Jackie pre-assassination, and like obviously a lot of things can change. Like, do you think how much of like Jackie's personality do you feel like you like know a lot about her before the assassination and then her after the assassination?
I think her life has been examined enough that there's information out there about everything. The thing is you can really only get other people's opinions because she didn't have a lot that she publicly said post-assassination. You know, it's not, I think she died in 93 or 94, and, you know, there's no Barbara Walters from 1987, you know, I guess that would be 24 years after the assassination, you know, what Jackie thinks now, or what Jackie remembers from that day. Like, there's literally nothing like that. She did not speak to the press unless she was doing some kind of charity work or some kind of movement, like when she saved Grand Central Station and things like that, then yeah, she would talk to the press. But like, even JFK Jr. was more open to that. There's literally footage of the day that, either the day Jackie passed or the next day, he's like outside his apartment and he's like, unfortunately, yes, like my mother has passed away, things like that. And she just wasn't, I think she was just done, you know, like she had her time where she had to be photographed constantly, and she just went through so much. I mean, not just
that's hers not to share. She doesn't have to share any of that.
Yeah.
That was her personal experience, like, hit the heart, like, that's terrifying. But what was that other thing? I think like Natalie Portman in Masterclass was talking about like accents and doing accents, where she's like, when you work with your dialect coach, you do a lot. Like you put more into it and then scale back. And again, I think Natalie Portman's just a really, really good actress. But also with like Jackie. Oh, another question. Well, before I forget, I'm just picking your brain. But if you did have to choose an actress, though, to be casted in her, do you have someone, like, would you be like, oh, this person I would be more curious to see?
I think that maybe Rachel McAdams. You know?
Interesting.
Because she's such a good actress when it comes to period. I feel like her
good point.
When I saw her, like I never think that she's more beautiful than The Notebook. Like I think she's just so like radiant in that movie
Absolutely,
in the more classic style. I think she would look very. Because the thing is, Jackie didn't just have a good sense of style. She really had an aura about her that all the most memorable, famous people have. That is that it thing. And, I mean, that was, I do believe Jack loved her, but I also think that was a huge part of why he married her and why she, couldn't leave him is because she wanted to leave him, before he was president. And she really couldn't do that to him because she felt like she had entered into this marriage that she couldn't just break, but
I feel like there are a lot of first ladies who feel like they want to leave the man before they became president. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of them here in that same place. Yeah.
Well, because she never expected him not to cheat on her. She knew that he was going to, but she started to see how blatant it was and how just loose he was about it and not even careful or anything like that. Yeah. And she was just like, this is crazy. Like, I'm like, you're making a fool of me, Yeah. And then, I mean, this is all pieced together from history. I don't know exactly what happened, but JFK's father, Joe, sat her down when she wanted to divorce him, and he was like, "You cannot do this to us. Like, you cannot do this to us. Like, he will not be president. Yeah. You have to do it." And apparently offered her money, and she was just like, there are some things that you can't buy. Like, this is my life. I just want to move on.
Yeah. But see, I think, is that the Kennedy way, though? Because they're obviously all women in the Kennedy line. Like, you act a certain way. You don't talk to the press. You felt like you are a soldier playing in whatever their big plan is. They're all like, like everybody was involved in politics. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, I feel like they all had to play a certain role. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's why Bobby's my favorite Kennedy, because in my opinion, for so many reasons, I love him, but I feel like he understood best what it was to be a Kennedy and how to use that to help others in the best possible way and the most efficient way. But when Bobby was Senator of New York, he would give money away from his personal pocket, like not from the New York whatever budget that you have to spend on welfare and things like that. People would call the office, one of his assistants that worked there would pick up, and it would just be a mom who'd be like, "Oh, I can't pay my rent. I'm alone. My husband left me. I got fired from my job. I'm going to get evicted tomorrow unless I have, the 3 months rent that I missed." And they would just go down there and, give it to her or call, even sometimes Bobby himself would call a landlord or call a boss or something like that.
That's crazy. I can't imagine.
Be like, "Hello, this is Senator Kennedy."
That's just mafia shit.
That's another thing with them, right? But
there are so many levels to them, though. Like, I don't think you can ever think one way about the Kennedys. Mm-hmm. There are people, well, I mean, that's not true, because there are people who definitely either really like them or really hate them. Mm-hmm. But they're just so complex. Mm-hmm. Like, there is so much going on. So much. With every single individual, too. It's not like, one side of it. Each of them held as, in the news. It's it's wild. Gosh, we could talk about them this whole podcast. Yeah. Don't forget, you still got that list.
I think Jackie is the first lady that you've named, but the first lady that you named. But I think a lot of people also would name Jackie first because she's the one that comes to mind. Because there's certain like things that Jackie did as the first lady that like now is kind of either expected or like there's like a role that like she played as the first lady that like it's like she set the standard in a lot of ways.
Do you think she's just she was the most covered because her and JFK were like one of the first celebrity, made politics and that world fused together, where now everyone afterward, like that is the culture. But it wasn't like that for every family that was in the White House. Mm-hmm. Those were the youngest kids. Do you feel like that's why she was... I mean, because, hey, we could talk about Ethel. Like, there are other Kennedy women. Sometimes I feel like it is too much... Not to insult you, Leah. But it is too much about Jackie, and people
I live for Ethel. I love her.
I just know you like love Jackie. It's not a dig at all. Nothing to insult. Like not about like to. It's
not about you, Jackie.
No. I'm just saying it's not to like dig her, but I feel like sometimes though, just like how stories are covered and how people remember it in history. Like there are those people who know about like you, Leah, who does your research. Like you actually look into a lot of this in detail. And you're not just one person to be like, I don't know, like the people you talk to where they like pretend they know everything about that topic and they just know who Jackie Kennedy is and they don't know anybody else. And it's just like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there were things that she did that make her memorable or known in a specific way, but people don't even know that it was her. Like... the arts programs that she brought to the White House, they would have monthly galas where there would be an orchestra or some other musical group, or she would have groups of actors come and perform Shakespeare, and she just wanted arts always like in and out of the White House. And you know, she wanted her kids to have a normal life, so she started a school inside the White House that she invited like a few other children to come to, so they would feel like they were in a real class, and things like that are kind of, I don't want to say customary. Everything is weird now because of the last, like, motherfuckers that were in there.
I was just about to say, but, God damn it, that was a certain standard. Now we got Melania where it's like, I honestly have no...
Why are you spoiling the game?
Oh, damn it, sorry.
Well, that's the thing is, like, Melania has her own style, right? Which, like, to me is...
She was gonna get that one, I mean, come on.
But it's like Jackie really wanted to spruce up the White House because she felt like, she's like, there are so many great presidents and their pictures aren't on the walls. Like, there should be artifacts from their time. And she actually would buy things at auction that used to be in the White House.
Wow.
She would always, like, fight for more budget for it and stuff because she wanted the White House to be a representation of everybody that had come before. And she worked really hard on all the designs, and she, you know, basically remade she gave the entire White House, or at least any of the, I guess, non-office areas, she completely made over. I mean...
Extreme White House makeover!
But I think in general you can attribute she was an amazing first lady, but she also remained iconic after she was the first lady when she became Jackie O and the sunglasses and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But a huge part of it, a huge part of JFK's success is he was the first president, they're the first administration that had television. So it also happened to be that they also were gorgeous. And the previous president was Eisenhower. You know, and that's looking at Eisenhower is very different from looking at JFK. And, you know, that debate with Nixon is really what kind of dropped the hammer on everything. And they did a poll for the people that had listened to it on the radio. They felt like Nixon, a lot of them felt Nixon had won, or that, you know, it was more leaning in that direction. And then people who watched it on TV felt as though JFK won, like almost unanimously because of his confidence. And when you can see someone like that, and you see him, do his speech after the, Cuban Missile Crisis. The Bay of Pigs, and he admits that he did something wrong. I mean, that's you see actually his face and how he feels, and his his civil rights speech where he puts the paper down and just speaks from the heart, and you're really connecting with the person, like you're looking them in the eye, even though you're not right in front of them, and it's like...
Or he's just a really good actor.
Well, you could also say that, sure, but I mean, they were good actors in the sense that they knew the right clothes to wear, they knew the right way to act, and they all had charisma, and they really used all of that to their advantage, like being the, you know, like JFK says, the new frontier, you know. It was very, we need to make room, and like things need to change, things can't be this way, and it's like their words have gotten me through this pandemic and this election year, because it's like it's so timely. I mean, it sounds like they're talking about literally the situation at hand today.
Well, it just shows that the times really have not changed.
I mean, and I think that part of the reason why is because they were both murdered. Like, I think things would be different. I mean, I think Bobby would have been president, and I do think that he would have worked on things the way that Biden is, like, attempting to and approaching to now. Like, I think he literally would have done some of the exact same things that are happening now. I mean, but it would have been 50 years ago.
Things would have been immensely different. However, a lot of people, because he was so young, like, we could have been in World War III.
Because of Bobby?
I'm saying JFK. Like, you're having this here with the Bay of Pigs. I mean, it's...
But that's also because of factors. Like, I feel like there were global factors that made JFK... Because JFK was kind of socialistic in ways.
There
and, like,
were
wanted
global
to spread love and stuff like that. And there's always capitalists who stomp that out. Like, they did that with Martin Luther King, and they did that with Fred Hampton, and they did that with every iconic socialistic leader in America. They tried to kill them one way or another and
oh my
stop
gosh,
them.
yes, it's too many in history for that. Like, it's kind of crazy.
It was literally just the hippies who cared about equality versus the people who had to go to war and were pissed at the hippies that the hippies didn't have to go to war. And it was like, that has been the politics that have taken over up until now. It's just like the same people. It's just the same
a lot
people
of wars
who
we
didn't go to
shouldn't
Vietnam versus the people who did go to Vietnam.
Vietnam specifically, where we shouldn't have even been in to begin with, and people like fighting in war for who, and they're coming back, and what people didn't know what to do with PTSD back then. People didn't even know what to do, like mental health. There wasn't still so early in certain research. I don't know. I feel like
it's the same thing.
That was a crazy period of time.
Speaking of Vietnam, justice for Da 5 Bloods. No Golden Globe nominations.
Yo, fuck the Globes.
Yeah, no love
fuck
for here.
Globes. No love at all.
Trash.
Yeah.
No love at all.
Yeah, not a fan of the 5 Bloods, so I can't.
You didn't like
No,
I was really
the
bad.
nominees I'm just saying the nominees in general for the Globes suck ass. I said it. It's on record.
But Brendan
Brendan and Brandon also did not like the 5 Bloods. Nobody with that name liked the 5
other
Bloods.
persona.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? You didn't like it? Why?
I just thought that it was like I thought like the humor they were going for and like the satire was I feel like it was like over the top and it didn't feel very effective. Cause I thought I don't know I felt like the movie started off one way and like I was like excited for like what the movie seemed like it was about to do, and then I did not like anything else that happened after it. Like I think the performances are good, like all the people in it are good, and there's like some interesting visual things, but then like a lot of the other stuff I was just not that into. I thought I didn't really, maybe you could explain this, but I didn't really understand like the whole Chadwick Boseman being like the only young one in the flashbacks. I didn't really.
I thought that was a cool thing.
I thought that was dumb as fuck. Sorry, that's just my opinion. But
No, same. I agree with you, Brendan. I always that kind of struck me as strange.
But it's because
I couldn't get over that.
He never aged. He never got the chance to live. So there's no older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I
of course
understand
he's
that.
the same. You know.
But it still
Well,
just
that
looked like
makes
a
it so
couple
much more
of.
profound. I didn't get that from that.
No, I get what Leah's saying,
No,
but it
yeah,
just,
that is
I don't know,
weird.
visually, it was just like, because it just looked like a bunch of old guys in the past. Like, dude, I don't know, it didn't really play well for me.
I think also, though, Spike Lee, like, he's very similar to Kanye West, I'd say. Like, before Kanye West became a Republican. But, like, I feel like everything, you just have to take it in like the continuum of Spike Lee. Because he is just making a very different thing every time he makes a piece of art.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel ugly sometimes because he's trying to make something very different. Which, like, I think a lot of Kanye's music sounds very ugly the first time you hear it. And, like, if you look at people's reviews, like, when his music comes out, each of his albums, like, there are people who are just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
This doesn't sound like Kanye. This is
Poop-diddy,
terrible. And then people always come around on almost all of his music, and they were like, wow, like, this guy, like, knows what he's doing. This is genius. This defined music.
Yeah, no, Poop Diddy Scoop Diddy is insane, right? That lyric is just...
Poop Diddy Scoop
starting-
Diddy is
I
the five
didn't
lines.
say this to, like,
I'm
plug
being-
Kanye. We don't need to plug Kanye right
This
now.
podcast brought to you by Kanye West. All right, Leo.
And the Kennedys.
Although Kanye could be... No, he can't be first man anymore.
No way.
Because
First
they're
man,
divorcing.
great
Do you
movie.
think he cheated? Their
Yeah, no,
open
they're not.
relationship, whatever they had, it's...
But for a while, you
yeah.
thought he could be... Yeah.
President Kim Kardashian? I don't know.
She's a business owner.
All right, Leah, you got to give us more on this list. We know
Yeah.
you know more.
Okay, Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hillary.
Mhm.
Michelle.
Hillary who? Full name, please. I don't want to assume.
Hillary Duff. Star
Hillary Eisenhower.
Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Michelle Obama. Sorry. Rena's handwriting this, so I don't want to go too quick.
Oh, no, you're
No,
good.
you can go quick.
Oh, you trust me.
Okay,
you're good.
Martha
I'm a machine.
Washington.
Nice. Throwback.
Go
The first lady.
back to the first presidency, yo.
Yeah.
Woo! They were
Okay.
slave owners. Okay.
Yeah, all
Remember
the.
who Laura Bush.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
fuck,
God! Look
I
at you
forgot
doing
the-
so well.
But I forgot his dad's wife. I can picture.
Nobody really remembers.
I can
her.
picture
No, I'm just
her,
kidding.
but I can't. Wait. Okay.
kidding,
So
just
Nancy Reagan.
Yes. Yeah. Do it for Nancy Reagan.
We are smoking marijuana right now. Fuck you, Nancy Reagan.
Oh, and fuck you, Ronald Reagan. You should have helped all those guys that were dying.
Yes.
Yeah. Ronald Reagan was literally bad in every zone, but
Didn't he,
Republicans
like-
just idolize him. Like his economic
He went down as a
policies
deity.
fucked up
People
the entire
totally.
country.
People
They
totally
really
love
did.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad hates him.
He's the one who
With good
started
reason.
tax on unemployment.
Wow.
Fucking A.
Cheese bag.
Yeah.
Legit, like an actor who's against
Also
unions.
weapons
Like what the fuck?
For the Iraq, it was a lot of bad stuff. He did. I don't like him. I don't like him.
There shouldn't be. I mean, I just don't feel like there should be. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I feel like there shouldn't be like TV people that are presidents. You know, there shouldn't be actors. There shouldn't be hosts of The Apprentice.
Yeah, well, Dwayne The Rock Johnson just. I mean, he's like talked about running for president in the past, and he put out a statement, I think either today or yesterday, where he said he's like, if the people want me to run, I will run for president. And in his
Why
new
does he want that stress? He has such a great life right now.
he likes but the Rock loves doing stuff, and he loves like being involved in stuff, and he loves being busy, and like he's gonna be if he runs for president and gets it, and like at this point now with what happened the previous go around. The Rock. I could very much see The Rock being the president at some point.
I mean, he would definitely. We would now have somebody competing with Putin visually. We'd be like, okay, now we finally got somebody who looks.
Put him on a
right?
horse.
Put him on a horse, exactly. Have him next to a bear. Like, let's do that promo too. Propaganda. Let's do it. Let's do the Rock propaganda. I am so in on that.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, he would look dope.
Was it Ukraine
a
that has a
wrestler
comedian for president?
Ukraine has a comedian for president.
Really?
Is that what you just said?
Who's the president? There's somebody who...
I
What? Why are you guys looking at me like I'm fucking crazy?
I don't know
Yeah,
this.
you're just very invested.
It's just news, Jordan.
Okay,
Yeah, we were just-
I'm gonna look up the global content.
we're taken aback, but I wanna know. Sure,
Yeah.
if that's a thing.
Yeah. How often, like I said, just like kind of generally thinking, how often do you think the president and the first
All
ladies...
right, wait. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
I was right.
Nobody said you were wrong.
Zelensky was elected president of the Ukraine on the day after 420 in 2019.
Nice.
He won with 73% of the vote, and he was a comedian, actor, screenwriter, film producer,
Whoa.
and he played a literal president in a movie on TV
Oh,
or some shit like that.
yes! I
That's what
remember
I'm
reading
saying.
about
yeah.
this.
So, like,
yes,
it's not that crazy that, like, actors win. 'Cause,
Oh my
like,
God, babe.
Reagan was an actor.
Be
and-
president. You're a Jew. You'll set new ground. Let's go.
Yeah, no Jew presidents.
If you don't want to be fried, contact Jordan Fried. Well,
No,
'cause
Jordan
no one-
Fried?
Jordan Fried is all you need. It's already
Oh,
written.
darn it, you're
Yeah.
right. I was
Fried is all you need.
People are gonna
The
say
Freedom
Fried,
Party.
but people would make so many puns in the news with your last name. It's too easy.
Yeah, including us. We would just do the morning shower podcast
Yeah, all about Jordan.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good LNH Studios brand, babe. You
Yeah,
should- you
you
gotta
can
be
do it.
president now.
Yeah.
If there's not a good president by the time I'm 35, and if I have any following, I would be president. But I don't think that would be the case. I think there's going to be somebody good by then.
I would
right?
not be a good first lady, so let's not do that.
Why not? Why would you be a good first lady? I think you would be good.
Oh.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can finally get a dog.
the first
I'll
dog.
I'll
Have a house
address-
to live in for 4 years.
I won't. No. It won't be the White House. It'll be the White Palace because I'm Middle Eastern, so it has to be palace.
Nice.
So I would just
Oh my
like.
gosh.
I would put a Persian
we
flair on everything.
revolutionized Iran relations.
Yo, we would be on best terms with Iran. No, I'm just kidding because I'm Jewish and we're American. We would not be on good terms with Iran. So there we go.
Yeah.
Who is on
Should
good
be
terms?
the
with
Iranian who's tight with Netanyahu.
I'm like, Dad, guess what? That's what I did.
Me and Bibi were boys.
Oh my god, that would be crazy. Oh man, I could definitely picture Leah as first lady though.
Yes.
Just because you're poised, like I don't.
Really? That's so funny.
No, I'm just lying to your face.
When I
Yes,
hear,
really.
when I hear people's opinion of me, I always am like, what? That's so funny. I mean, like I'm
What do you
poised
mean?
when I'm being a princess, but I don't think I'm poised in my everyday existence. You think?
I mean, I've
like,
been
on
in a
daily
room with
basis?
you when you've been drunk, so I know.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, in your house. Yeah.
So I'm like,
That's pretty rare though. Leah,
No,
Leah's
but-
pretty straight edge.
No, but I'm saying like, so I've seen you at a different point, but I think, yeah, you are just generally, yeah, I think
Wait,
you are
you know
a
what it
poised
was?
person. I think you're.
Thank you. You know what it was when I
I
was
felt
drunk? Is
I
when-
felt I was interrogated because you ask a lot of questions when you're drunk.
Oh no. Wait. I don't ask questions when I'm drunk. Like, I might, in addition, yes, but, like, I ask people questions like that. It's not because I was under the influence. Like, I like, interrogate everybody at a certain point.
The
Yeah.
Oh,
first
yeah,
time
no,
you
I
met
know.
Brendan
I know
and
that.
started talking to Brendan like very closely, like when you were in interrogation mode with Brendan, you asked very direct questions where I was just like, I would never ask somebody a question this direct.
But like, listen,
It was nice though.
But
It was.
I
Yeah.
get it because I don't like doing small talk where it's just like, oh, the house,
either.
oh, how do you like when you get to know a person, especially when you meet somebody like that. I mean, I'm assuming it was like an instant friend connection with Brendan because like if a lot of people who meet Brendan like have that because like Brendan's just a good dude. And same with Jordan, but I'm saying like when you like just talk to people like that, you just get in deep conversation. You just get into like I don't know. I want to literally find out who are you. How did you become you? Like what's
Yeah.
so you ask critical stuff
What's your greatest fear?
because like because I'm interested because I'm genuinely like want to know. Okay, what's this person's deal?
Yeah.
Like what's
Yeah,
going on
that's
here?
why I
You're
don't-
intriguing.
Like, I don't mess around. I just would rather have a real convo. And the thing is, you think more
Do you
people...
think you'd be a good negotiator?
I mean, in what sense? For what kind of...
Like negotiate with bank robbers and they have 10 people
Oh,
in this
absolutely,
bank.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm
How
not afraid of
specific that
criminals.
was.
Yeah, Lia Russo in Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, like you'd be definitely a good negotiator. They'd be like, "Do you know a negotiator?" I'd be like, "No, but I know an improviser." You're like,
Yeah.
and actor, she's really great with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying I'm poised, and thank you for appreciating my
welcome.
inquisitive nature.
Anytime.
Yeah. It's definitely the way I operate. Did I do that to you, George? When did I do that to you? I know I did. Were you at Olay?
We've probably just talked as a result of being in a troupe together, like just as a multiple hangouts. We've talked a lot just through doing movie, cinema, film.
Yeah.
Like before and after that.
But you know what? I remember like the first few group hangs that you and I had with like other people from Rhino. I felt like they're like in general. I feel like it's like-mindedness at Rhino, so a lot of people would get my jokes, but the jokes that like I would make that other people didn't get, you would like burst out laughing, and that's how I knew that like I could talk to you because you're like quick and smart and clever, and you're not like, wait, what? That's the worst thing in the world when you think that you're vibing with someone and you make a joke and you think they're gonna laugh like Jordan, and then they're just like, wait, what? You know? I thought you were I thought you were like my kind, and you're not.
Leah just goes around the world and like people laugh or they don't laugh. She's like doesn't laugh like Jordan does, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel similarly. Yeah.
Well, you've got 8 so far.
Yeah.
Okay, I realized I didn't say Jill Biden,
Yeah.
the current First Lady.
Good job.
Thank you. Lady Bird Johnson.
Nice, good pull.
So far, you've gotten everyone I expected you to get.
I mean, I really can't think of any more at the moment.
Well, while you're
you could also think about the presidents in order.
Yeah.
If you have not done so already.
I
Obviously, that would have been
interesting.
Well, I'll say while you're
Go
you're thinking, I'm curious to know if you and then anyone else afterwards is aware of how many presidents do not have a like traditional first lady in the sense of like their wife is their first lady.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and maybe it's a trick question. Maybe every president has had a wife. How many presidents have
like bachelor presidents?
Yeah.
There's been 2 bachelor presidents.
Whoa.
I think.
Jordan coming in hot. You just said it right there. He didn't think. He thought a little.
Back when people used to die.
Wow,
like,
Brendan, you don't even have the answer
fever.
ready? What is this? What is this garbage? You asked this question and you're not?
Wait, I think there's I know one.
Oh my god!
Wait, hold on.
My god!
Wait, I thought there was only one.
Nice
Barbara.
We don't
Barbara
know.
Bush.
Yeah, there it
Good
is. There's the other Bush.
job.
Oh no, Jordan's right there. There are 2 single ones. At least that's what Bustle.com just told me when I googled it.
But if you're a bachelor president, does that mean you're the gay president? Have we had a gay president? That's what I always wonder.
We don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I think probably.
Yeah, I
Eleanor
also
Roosevelt was really our gay president, but she wasn't officially president.
That's true, but she was definitely the legs of the operation.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that. Wow, that was a solid joke.
Did you guys purposely
Polio joke,
not
people,
ask
come
me a
on.
pop culture question because you knew that I would just
What do you mean?
like have no problem?
Well, yeah, we want people to go search you out for your other pop culture. I don't know. Do you want to talk about that real quick while we're like in the middle and you're like stumped? Do you want to talk a little bit about Ashlee and Jessica?
Oh, sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So,
Plug.
my friend Jolie and I host a pop culture nostalgia podcast called the Ashlee and Jessicast, and if you don't know what it is from hearing the title, then you're probably not going to be interested in it, but it's a podcast about the movies, music, TV, and more of Ashlee and Jessica Simpson. I call it pop culture nostalgia, but we do talk about all the current stuff going on with them too, and we have a segment each week where we talk about pop culture from 2003 because that's what we're reviewing at the time when we were reviewing Jessica's show Newlyweds, so that aired in 2003, the first season. So then whatever happened the week that aired, we mentioned some of the biggest topics and talk about that. So it's not just them, it's mostly them, but it's kind of an overall pop culture from like 15 through 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll move on like as we get into later in their careers and stuff, it'll be like 10 years ago and then 5 or whatever. But we started at the beginning, so we're on episode 15 now, and we're only just getting to like January, like the beginning of 2004. So
What do you think it is about
history.
these nostalgia podcasts that work so well with pop culture? Like, do you think it is us looking back as adults on stuff that we were kids for, and like thinking back to how we like saw all of these celebrities and saw all of the gossip, and now we can look back as adults and be like, this was all effed up. Like, why do you think it is so popular? Just nostalgia in general?
I think that part of it is just wanting to be seen, like just wanting to feel less alone, because people will bring up to me all the time like a very obscure like commercial or something that someone did or whatever, or a certain toy or something, and when you realize other people remember and care about the things that you care about when they're not like huge world issues or something, especially because a lot of the time, I mean, I feel like pop culture is sometimes looked down on as an interest. You know, it's like if you know too much about Brad and Angelina, it's like you're pathetic. Like, why do you care about these people? You know, and things like that. But pop culture actually completely reflects our society and shapes our entire lives.
Yes.
So the fact that so many people are like, oh, it's like it's more impressive if you know a lot about history or science or something like that. Pop culture is like, oh, that's, more frilly or whatever. But I also think that history just repeats itself and things are cyclical. So right now, people that don't have any nostalgia for the early 2000s because they barely remember them, like teenagers, are like obsessed. They're like, oh my god, that's so early 2000s and things like that. And I get it, because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like the 80s. Like, I thought that was so cool. I would like tell my friends about the Breakfast Club and 16 Candles and stuff, and I'd be like, oh my god, like, I have to watch this. And I wasn't even alive for it at all. So I think it's just history repeating itself, and then for our age, it's like a comfort of knowing that all these stupid things that you remember, like there are people too that still think about it and are interested in talking about these topics in depth from a serious perspective and not just whatever gossip or something.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. What? Because just because we're talking about pop culture and popped into my head, what did you think of Justin Timberlake? His situation with Britney and Janet Jackson. What was that? Their fan base lashing
or just the
out at
Britney
him,
Spears
right?
thing in general, because like that was like I like you were the person.
Yeah,
that
I definitely know
introduced me
you
to
have thoughts on
concept.
that. Yeah.
I introduced you to the concept of Britney.
Well,
Also,
No, the
Britney
conservatorship. I think
Britney is like
the
gateway content to Ashlee and Jessicast.
Yeah.
So if you're into the Britney stuff, you're gonna definitely be interested in the Ashlee and Jessicast, because it's like different, but like still in the same realm.
Yeah.
But, like, continue.
Again, history repeats itself.
You asked me about Justin
Timberlake, yes,
I
him
think
specifically.
that it's extremely obvious that Justin has a small penis. That's what I say.
Is that a documentary? I missed that part of it.
It's in my documentary.
That's why he's crying a river, because he has a small penis.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I was a huge NSYNC fan when I was a kid, but after that, I hated him because of how he treated Britney. And I think it's fucking insane. Like, literally, even worse than the Britney stuff. I mean, I hate how he treated Britney, but the Janet thing, to me, he ripped her top off and everybody blamed her. Like, how can that be? I get it. I know people are sexist. Like, Americans are sexist and racist. I get it. I know that. But to the point where you visibly see him rip off her top and it's still her fault, why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you immediately assume that she planned that? Like,
Right.
if I saw that, I would be like, oh my god, like, he... because I didn't watch it live, but I remember hearing about it, and, like...
I did. I remember that was
me too.
crazy.
Yeah.
We immediately called her, because we're like, is this real right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and I still don't know exactly what really happened, but, I mean, to me, it looked like I don't think he was trying to expose her fully like that, but I thought, just like many pop stars have, they start out with more clothes and they usually like take layers off at some point, and so I thought he was just kind of doing that, but still, like, you see him rip that off, and it's somehow her fault, and it really upsets me, because like when I was growing up in the Britney era and everything, Janet wasn't like her Control era or her Velvet Rope, but like Janet was still everything. Like, everybody knew about Janet, and she was still out there, and she was considered a legend, like right alongside like Madonna and Michael and stuff. Yeah. And this generation doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah.
And that's true. That is because of this situation and because of him, because he never once got up and said, you know what, like, Janet had absolutely no intention of doing this. And I take responsibility for it too, and it was just a genuine mistake, and he could have propped her up so many times, and he could have defended her to the press, and he could have put a united front forward. And it's like, I mean, the way that the world reacted, you would think it was like the puritanical, like 1600s or something. I mean, it literally was so unfair, and I just feel terrible for her because she truly is like one of the most talented artists, you know, and
she lost a career because of a nipple.
Yeah, she lost a legacy. I think is the big thing that it is, you know, because she really did have a certain, even though I was a kid and I didn't know her when she came. I mean, I wasn't alive when she came out and everything. She was still definitely like in the group and in the lexicon. She was considered like more iconic because she had been around, and you know, she was such a talented dancer and all that kind of stuff, and it's just it just makes me so mad. I think he is such a little pussy and such a little weasel, because he also...
Do you think he brings bad karma to Jimmy Fallon? Because that's like...
Oh, yes.
Him and Jimmy Fallon doing history
so.
of rap is kind of problematic now.
I
to be like, why did these two white guys just do the history of rap without black guys?
People with similar characters are attracted to each other, and I think Jimmy Fallon definitely has... like baggage. There's some, I don't know, maybe there's something that's gonna come out more in detail, but like he's already been
I think he just comes from a
like
different
covered
time
with stuff.
of comedy, and now he's like the host in a time that doesn't like. He's in the wrong time. Like he was an early 2000s host. Like he was what the early 2000s should have had in a late night host with Jimmy Fallon. But Jimmy Fallon is like
I just don't
behind the
know
times,
if I like those people.
Yeah.
But Justin Timberlake, that was, I don't know.
He even when...
especially seeing where
also, if I ever go on Jimmy Fallon, I hope he just shits on me. That would be sick. That would be so unlike Jimmy Fallon to just be like, hey, you motherfucker, I heard you talking shit about me. You think you're so hot? Now you're up on my show and I'm going to embarrass you. He just pulls out my pants.
What an odd fantasy, Jordan. That's a very niche porn fantasy, is that Jimmy Fallon shitting on me. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Leah?
Jackie Kennedy would be so disappointed that it's devolved into.
Oh my gosh! Absolutely. Are you kidding?
Well, yeah. He even, I mean, down to like when NSYNC took a break. That was what it was supposed to be. NSYNC took a break, and he kept telling them all, "Oh, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back." And then maybe he generally meant that at a certain point, but then if you change your mind, which he did, then contact everyone and say, hey. You know, don't, like, you can, you know, because Lance, I read this in his book, he wasn't taking on, like, certain larger projects and stuff because he wanted to be ready right away if Justin came back, because it was kind of like he was controlling the whole thing, and then he just never told them NSYNC was over. Like, he just never had the fucking balls to say,
or
hey, guys.
Dick. Yeah, he's got a very tiny dick, right?
He does. You know, he does. He's a pussy. He's a pussy, and he never deserved Britney. And now he's cheating on Jessica Alba, and I hope she dumps
Oh my god! I was
ass.
going to ask you
dump his ass. Like, you're Jessica Alba. Not Jessica Alba. Jessica Biel.
I know what you meant. Yeah, I know what you meant. I completely...
He's also cheating
I completely
Jessica Alba.
didn't even think of, like, correcting that detail, because I was just like, oh, I know who she's talking about. I'm like, oh, right, we're recording a podcast. Other people are gonna not know. But I was just like, oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and there are so many times where, like, when Britney was, like, really suffering, that he could have stood up and defended her or done something and all of that. I mean... You know, Christina Aguilera met them at the same time on Mickey Mouse Club, and they all knew each other since they were kids, and she was trying to help Britney at the time, and she was calling Britney, and then they would, you know, send letters back and forth and stuff like that, and she was like, you know, even though we aren't, like, BFF anymore or whatever, you're obviously, like, publicly suffering, and we've been through a lot of the same stuff, and, like, I'm here for you. And, like, the fact that it just really makes me so sad and confused and angry that, like, because Britney is genuinely, like, you can just tell she does not have a bad bone in her body. Like, she's the sweetest, like, you know, inside, like, she has such a good soul, and she would never, like, even when he did that fucked up shitty song Cry Me a River, like, her response, which wasn't even a response, it was just her being an artist, she wrote a song about heartbreak and about, like, you know, him, like, haunting her because she missed him so much and how bad she felt. It's called Every Time. And,
so hurting.
And she didn't have an aggressive, you know, song calling him out for doing some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just kind of, like, didn't attack, like, she was attacked and she didn't really do it back. And it's like, I just don't understand how, no matter what happens between you, if someone is publicly, like, not even being treated like a human being anymore, you can't at least, like, give a comment to the New York Times and be like, you know, Brittany is one of the most incredible people I've ever met. Like, I am trying to work on, talking to her family and getting something going here, or just, like, offering her personal support, you know? And I know that someone will probably say, oh, well, you don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe he did. He didn't. I mean, like, okay, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. That would be great. I would love for him to prove me wrong, but he's not going to. And this apology that he gave the other day, that was not him.
Yeah.
No, everyone knows that was not him.
Yeah.
That was clearly a publicist.
But I think him dating Britney Spears was a PR move. I think a piece of it was, like, I think he, like, it's when you get into that level of that career and becoming whatever icon, you look out for number one. No, I'm not going to say I ever know what Timberlake was like before he was Justin Timberlake. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know. Changes people, and, like, also, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, sorry.
No, that's okay. The thing is that his apology, it was just, he grouped in Britney and Janet, and it's such completely different situations. And if you gave half of a fuck, not even Justin himself, like, his publicist wrote a shitty, unbelievable opinion. Like, if I was his publicist, I'd be like, okay, I wanted to apologize to Janet Jackson for the way that I left her out in the dust after the Super Bowl appearance, and it was not her fault, and whatever. And then Britney, I did not treat her right in the media after I kind of just hung her out to dry and talked about our personal business in order to get more press and things like that, and that's wrong. Like, at least make it specific.
Yeah, I don't think that meeting ever happened, Leah. I don't think he ever sat down with his publicist and just like, all right, let's blah, blah, blah. But you're right, actually, him clumping them in together spoke very loud. Like, more than the words, whatever that was written, where it's just like, oh, okay, you don't give a shit from the get-go.
Yeah, and a common factor in a lot of these, like, men apology, like, PR things, whatever, is, like, to not be specific, because, like, you have to, like, admit to enough that, like, shows that you're actually admitting to something, but, like, a lot of them, they just, like, keep it as vague as possible, because they don't want to bring the details of, like, the shit that they did, because they don't want to have to, like, because the people who didn't know about it, they're going to be like, oh, wait, you did some bad things, and then they look into it, and then they, like, and, like, that's probably where Justin Timberlake is at right now with it.
Do you think this is going to affect his career at all?
Absolutely not.
Signed to deal with the devil. He looks like somebody who signed to deal with the devil. And, like, they legit, get all of the benefits of signing that deal.
Hey, you have to sign a deal with the devil if you wear an all jean outfit.
True. No, he, I just forgot what I was going to say. What did you say, Jordan?
That he signed to deal with the devil.
Oh, right. But his career was already on the downslope. Like, his last album was trash, and no one liked it, and it didn't do well. And then, he came out with this dumb-ass movie, Palmer, that nobody even saw, but he was seen cheating with his... The movie, see, you didn't even...
No, I have no
idea. It's on Apple TV. We could have watched it.
Well, now I never will.
No, but it's like...
Go ahead. Cheated on... Do you know with who? Who did he cheat on her?
Yeah, his co-star from Palmer. There's literally pictures of them sitting at a restaurant on a patio, and his hands are, like, all over her legs and shit. And then he did a public apology that, of course, he says... In that moment at the restaurant, he had a lapse in judgment, and that's all that happened, of course, is that he touched her leg in public at a restaurant, and I was like... You are such a fucking pussy. Like, I just can't stand him. Like, I wish... And they just had another baby. That's the thing that sucks. That's why I feel like Jessica Biel isn't leaving his pathetic ass. Because it's one thing... It's the whole... Like, it brings it back to the Jackie thing. Like, it's one thing to be cheated on privately, where nobody else knows, and everyone else still believes in that perfect couple or that image. But when you're publicly cheated on, that is, like, a public humiliation. It's like... Everybody knows that you were at home taking care of the kid while he was, banging his co-star. And that's the worst of every Hollywood actor, right? Like, that's what everybody assumes about all of them, or musicians, is that they're always cheating on their wives, and they're always like, whoever's in town, that's who they're sleeping with, and things like that. And so many people try to prove that they're not like that. And it's like, I just hope she leaves his stupid ass, because it can't.
Well, like, what has she been doing for work? What does she do for money? Like, is she?
She's an actress still. I mean,
has she done stuff? I actually don't know.
Millions of dollars. She definitely has money.
I mean, but she also doesn't have to work because of him. But
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, her lifestyle currently is the way it is. A lot, obviously, because of Justin Timberlake. That affects it. But it's just like, I don't know, you lose a lot of money when you divorce someone. I don't care how rich you are as a celebrity. I mean, unless you're Bezos level. But
I'm sure they have a prenup.
Yeah.
They have to have a prenup.
True. But also, you remind me of, it was the documentary you're watching about Tiger Woods. What was that on?
HBO.
And about his wife going through, a lot focusing on her, where I was just like, damn, I feel so sorry. Like, it... Again, like, just being, like, public humiliation and, like, the specifics of that one where, it, leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Like, I was like, that made me super sad.
Yeah, you'd almost think...
Very good documentary. You should watch it, but...
you'd almost, like, think that some of these dudes who, like, do this cheating would, like, be aware enough that, like, oh, I'm in the public's, like, eye, so, like, I have to be extra careful. And, like, maybe some of them are, and then they, like, still don't get away with it, and then a lot of them do get away with it, and, like, because, like, you can't talk about the people that you don't know did these bad things, so I'm sure there's probably a lot of stories that we don't even know about.
Yeah, true.
That's
but I
thing,
just don't think they care. They're not careful.
Most cheaters probably aren't caught, and most cheaters probably get away with it. And then it's just like all of these people who we see are just the people who probably overcheat also.
Yeah.
Well, we know Dominic West cheated, so...
Yeah,
Lily James, now moving on to that. I know, in the actual show and in real life.
No, that made me so mad too, because you just know that he said to her, "Oh, we still live together because of the kids, but we're actually broken up."
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we're dating other people. She has a boyfriend. I know that he told her that. Trust me, I've dealt with these men before, okay? Like, this is exactly, like, it's just, and the thing is, the next day, he was out there with his wife on their front lawn doing a press conference. Like, fuck
that picture.
you.
Yeah.
I can't.
What was it, like a unified front or whatever, that they're like, oh, this should, like, it, stupid ass stunt. Like, it was, But then they also had, like, him and Lily James had that whole marketing thing where there's, like, a bunch of pictures of them, like, at brunch or dining, and they were, like, modeling together, and it was very cutesy. It was, like, very, like, I don't know.
There's no room for cutesy in Hollywood. There's enough cutesy as
But
it
also,
is.
like, after a month when they were, canoodling, doing whatever with each other, Lily James is now hanging out with a musician. Like, this girl's bouncing.
She gets around. She
gets around.
I mean that in a way of admiration. Not
in a sex
she's not the one.
way.
No, but
Exactly.
no, because she's not the one who had responsibility. She was not married. She did not have kids. I think you're like, there is not equal fault in every situation. Honestly, I mean, it gets, of course, like, muddy with, with having affairs and stuff, but I don't know, I just, she wasn't the one, like, married and has kids. It's not like she did, and, like, she did things wrong, but, I'm, like, stuttering, I'm like, but, not, like, because I don't want to contradict myself, but it's still, like, that dude had a fucking family, you destroyed your own family, sorry, like, you're a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You're heartless.
Went off on a rant about this on the Rocks episode of Movie Cinema Film.
Oh, yeah,
I went on this, like,
this.
very big cheating tangent where I was, like, yelling into the mic and, like, I was just, like, very angry, and I'm very unforgiving with cheating.
Cheating is very nihilistic. You're just like, the world doesn't matter, so then you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, you're just a fucker, because you're just like, why? Like, none of this matters. My relationship right now doesn't matter, so I'm just gonna have sex with whoever I want, because, like, that's not gonna matter, and then the thing after that doesn't matter, and then nothing matters, which, like, is a terrible way to live, and a lot of, like, celebrities fall into that path, or people who live, like, substance abusing lives, because they're just
But I do feel that even cheaters deserve to be happy. I mean, again, depends on, like, your really bad service, like, because they're, like, just really, really
They just
bad
have to be
examples
happy,
out there.
but not with me.
But I do feel there's some, like, just in particular, like, there's some people, though, who can actually change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there are people who do learn from that mistake And then I feel like there's some that, like, yeah, obviously don't beat the, like, I don't know, they have that behavioral pattern.
Yeah, people make mistakes, and like that's even the thing with like talking about the like who's like more at fault. It's like people are at fault, and they like something like the situation like
people are faulty.
Yeah, people are faulty. Yeah, and the difference is like there are people who like make mistakes and they learn from those mistakes, and then there are people who make mistakes, know their mistakes, keep making the mistakes, and then like continue to keep making those mistakes, and there's a difference, you know.
There's a very good episode of Insecure. I don't know which episode it is.
Yo, that show should have been nominated.
Yeah, Golden Globes, huh?
Just again, if you didn't hear us before Golden Globes, you suck ass.
Yeah.
They really do. I'm not a fan.
Take that, the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Yeah.
I can't.
Also,
I'm turning my chair around.
Check out LNH Studios, Hollywood Foreign Press. They have some things you'd be interested in nominating. Or not. Either way, you still suck ass.
So, Leah,
Mm-hmm.
First Ladies. Huh,
Yeah.
what about them? Crazy.
How many do we have so far?
I just wanted to, like, see your anxiety go back and be like, oh, shit.
My brain stopped.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of...
That's a part of this show.
You don't need to tell me twice. My brain, I'm the worst. I'm losing. I'm last in this challenge for every episode.
Yeah,
Jordan's definitely in the lead. You're second, and I'm nowhere close to anybody.
Yeah.
It's annoying because I know that I know at least 5 more, but I just can't think of their names.
That's
right.
right, and you go home disappointed, and you never forgive yourself. And
Well,
we
recorded in your home, Reena, so you didn't go home disappointed.
I went to bed.
You went to bed disappointed.
Ashamed of myself.
Yeah. Now,
shame on you.
speaking of shame, there's no shame if you. We're not all on the same boat in terms of giving hints, but if you want hints,
I'm anti-hints.
Yeah.
I always get hints.
I take the L. I just.
It's not an L. You did well.
You got one, which means that you did some.
Thank you.
No problem.
Brendan.
So are you officially calling it? Is this the end of your?
Yeah, you got 11.
Well, I don't think she has to call it yet.
Yeah.
You got 11.
You can still hang with Leah and talk to her a little bit more.
Oh yeah, no, things
like
may
it's fun to have
trickle
a
in
guest
to your
in here.
memory.
Gosh,
Yes.
when's the next time we're gonna have a guest? 2022.
Probably next.
Tomorrow.
Probably next week.
We have to have a year-long quarantine after we see people.
People we know who've been
I jest.
quarantined.
I
We're all
Josh.
wearing our masks, FYI. We
Yeah.
are being safe.
If you're listening to this in the future, if this recording has been found in the rubble of the AI and robot destruction, this is happening in 2021 when the pandemic is still happening. So
I took a story of it to put on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm showing that we,
Oh,
except it didn't show myself, but
cool. Hope
not for that, not because we need evidence, but I'm just saying, like, we're not stupid.
Everything is evidence, though.
Everything.
So, how's the edible?
It's good. It's very like tingly.
I
I also like. I have to drive. I mean, I know one of you. Who else has to drive?
We walked.
Yeah,
Oh, you
we
walked. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to drive. So I ate like half of what you guys ate.
Good idea.
But I also like, even though I take edibles more than I smoke, like not even comparable. Like
Yeah.
I'm an edibles person. I'm sure you remember from our Kevin Smith.
Yo.
Was
Yo.
that the last time you guys were in the city?
No,
that was
we
in the
weren't
city.
in
That
the
was
city.
Jersey, right?
No, it was upstate.
Oh, I thought it was in the
Or Westchester,
city.
maybe.
What?
Well,
I was so high.
Yeah.
You guys were right. You were out right before the things were shut down.
It was like
right?
close
When
right
was that?
before.
It
Yeah.
was like less than a month before.
Right? Yeah.
So they had a
Close.
screening of Jay and Silent Bob. It was.
Get old.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. They were old. But wait, what's the name of the movie? Not Strikes Back. That's the second one. Oh, it's the reboot. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And
Get Old is the podcast.
wait, is
Jay
that?
and Silent Bob
Oh
Get
yeah,
Old
you're
is
right.
the
Sorry, I
podcast.
think you were just joking.
No.
Yeah. So we had an edible, and we also got food afterwards. I don't remember where it was though, but it was a very satisfying munchies eat.
We got food.
Yeah,
I don't
we got fast food
Oh,
somewhere.
interesting.
No, we didn't.
You were so excited. What? It was your idea.
How much do you not remember?
Oh my god, Brendan. I totally don't remember that.
It was like Wendy's, I think, probably, and you were just like so excited about it.
I love fast food.
Leah, do you usually forget what you do when you?
No,
the night after-
I.
Wow. So
but
what?
I
How many
really-
edibles did you take? What was the dosage here? Milligrams?
It was
How
the
many?
one of the little squares out of the Wonka bar.
Oh.
But you told me
It was
how
like
you
a
were like, this is
punch.
extra strong. This is.
You
too-"
took the
were
whole
like,
thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had half because I
because
lost
I
the other
was-
half.
But I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
whatever.
Yeah, because I knew I was driving, so I was like, I'm gonna do half, and then so that way like I don't like have to worry about like how I'm gonna feel now. I'll like gauge it later, and then like I had half before we like got there, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, where's the other half? So it's still somewhere.
You
in the
didn't. You were
universe.
wearing a chest pocket or
No,
something.
I know pocket protector for my
So
weed.
it's usually where you put stuff. You put your nuggets in there. Chicken
Yeah.
nuggets.
Oh, I want chicken nuggets.
Yo, I would love chicken nuggets right now.
Yeah.
Wait,
well,
I feel like
we
now
don't
I
have
vaguely
any.
remember it because
Okay.
I probably said to you like we need to get.
You did. You 100%. like we were literally leaving, and you were like, you didn't say like, so are we getting food? But it was definitely like less a question and more like we need to get food
Yeah.
right now.
That's how you can tell it's the second half of Sessions with Mary Jane, because we start getting our munchies, and then all we can talk about is food, and we're just like, why have we been talking about food for 10 minutes?
Food's a great topic, though.
Yeah.
I'll talk about food often.
Yeah, I just always love food.
There's just so
Yeah,
many great
me
things
too.
about it. It's a broad topic too. There's so many things you talk about when it's in regard to food, not just eating it, but making it,
Dancing with it.
Have you been cooking a lot?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I get into periods where I'm, like, not cooking very much, and then when I start cooking again, I'm like, I am so good at this. I don't know why I spend so much money on takeout and shit, because I'm like, damn. But yeah, I'm trying to learn more and more recipes so that I have, like, a lot of go-to recipes.
Yeah.
And once the pandemic is over, because I have a new dining room set, so I can like have people over and cook and have dinner parties and be like,
Yeah.
be like an adult that has dinner parties.
Dinner
God.
parties.
Dinner parties where you bring
So
the
excited.
candy bars.
Yeah. We brought dessert.
Yeah, but that one that you got me was Fruity Pebbles.
Mm.
Fruity
That was
Pebbles.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I've had that one before too. That one is pretty
Fruity
good.
Pebbles. I don't know if I've had Fruity
Yeah,
Pebbles.
it's a white chocolate, I think, right?
Oh, that's
With
why I
Fruity
don't like white
Pebbles
chocolate.
inside.
Yeah.
That was a Wanda bar. You
Yeah.
can plug the Wanda bars. They're not called Wonka bars anymore because they got cease and desist. I think. They're called
By
Wonka
Willy
bars.
Wonka himself.
They're also made by a woman.
You didn't make
named
these with
Wanda.
Oompa Loompas.
Willy Wonka just like wrote like a letter in his little angry office, like in the movie, and he's just like, "I said good day, weed man," and then sent the letter out to him. Oh.
Are you
Wonka.
going tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night or tonight, if you're listening to this right now, January or February 17th, I think tomorrow is.
Mhm.
There is the final New Jersey Weedman's joint of the month with Late Night Hump. There will probably be some stand up. Who knows? Maybe some improv. We're gonna vibe it out. We've been
Get
having
humped.
small crowds and live streams. So watch on the live stream if you don't feel like going out to Trenton. But if you want to buy some weed, it's a pretty good two birds with one stone situation. You catch a little stand up, you buy a little weed, you go home after you bought a little weed, smoked a little weed, waited for the weed to wear off. You know, it's always a good time. And then we're not back until March. And then March is a different story. Hopefully it starts to get somewhat warmer so that we can get into the bigger backyard area. Right now we're in the patio.
I'm definitely gonna Venmo you, I think.
Word.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess she wants to buy tickets to my comedy show.
And that's what I was talking about.
Yes, get in your car now. The show is starting. Leave now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's always like that's part of the LNH Studios podcast network as well. Get on the cannabis with NJ Weedman. He got arrested recently in Sussex County and got charged with conspiracy to distribute just because he had a little bit of weed and he had tons of money because he was paying his rent and his
When was
bills
it
for the month.
When is it officially gonna be legal?
Who knows?
Whenever Phil Murphy decides to stop dragging his feet. But it's like very disrespectful that Phil Murphy, don't think we forgot this, you tweeted before it even got legalized, before the vote even happened, you tweeted out a New Jersey State logo or a New Jersey State picture of like the shape of New Jersey with weed flowers, marijuana leaves all over it. You tweeted that out and it's like, people are still getting put in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how kind of fucking deranged politics can you be doing that, like, that is happening? Like, you could tell the police officers to stop arresting people.
Mm-hmm.
You are the fucking governor. You are the person who controls that. You could easily just say that, and, like, if you're not gonna fix COVID, you might as well let people smoke weed whenever they want, you motherfucker. Because like, what else are we supposed to do but sit at home and get high? Sorry about that tangent.
Yeah.
No, don't apologize.
I got fired up about it.
It's all good. That's what we're here for. We're here to bring the fire. And also, Phil Murphy, if you can fix COVID, please fix COVID.
Yeah, get out your wrench.
Yeah, just get your monkey wrench out and just loosen things up or tighten things up, whichever way works for getting rid of this, because it is overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, I just don't get why people haven't legalized weed nationally, because that would just make so much money for our government. People would stay home so much more. They would just buy their weed and go home and then stay home and watch TV all day.
Yeah.
Like, legit, when I was in college and I was, like, at my brokest at times, I would just be like, I have weed. I paid for this weed already.
Yeah.
Staying inside is a free day now. You know? Like, if I smoke all the weed in my house, I'm not paying for anything, you know? And that's how people will think during the pandemic.
The number one reason I take edibles is to sleep. Like, I take a less than half of one of those squares, and it helps me sleep. And like, I have literally had insomnia issues since I was 12, and I've always taken like on and off some form of sleep aid, whether it be like prescribed by a doctor or just over the counter, and I have to always switch them up, and then I'll like try something with CBD and then try something else that's like natural, and then get back to just like a regular over-the-counter NyQuil or something, and I like alternate them so that
I did not know you showed
my body's not getting like the same amount of like shit every time. And like with edibles, I'm just like, oh, this is just natural. Like, it's not ruining the lining of my stomach or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It just makes you feel nice.
I mean, I'm not one of those people who's like, I read Playboy for the articles. Like, I enjoy getting high. But like, in addition to that, I need it. Like, I don't need it to sleep, but I feel like if it's not there, like if I don't have the option, that is going to affect my life negatively.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Sure.
We should play a game or something besides First Lady.
Yeah, let's do
That's
it.
not how
What do you
this
want to play?
podcast works, but we can. If there's like a specific
was
game you want to
ready.
play,
Yeah,
to
wait, what
close
kind of
us
game are you
out.
I'll play a
playing?
game. I want to play a game.
Second ladies.
Second.
All the second ladies. All the second ladies. All the second ladies.
Put your hands up.
Yeah.
Apparently Joe Biden's not even president anymore. Apparently Kamala Harris is already president, so Doug is first man.
What
What are you saying? Yeah, Jordan, let's cut that back.
Yeah, he said apparently.
That's what's on Twitter right now. Twitter
What?
is like trending that Kamala Harris is taking all of Joe Biden's calls right now, and that Joe Biden doesn't even do presidency anymore.
How often do you read Twitter? You're on it a lot. I feel like you know what's going on with Twitter every second of Twitter. I'm like, how do you have time to just
Twitter's always there.
engulf it? And
It's my connection to the world.
It
I don't
really
know.
is,
It's
yeah.
like the only outside connections I have. Like, I see the same people every day. I see the people I live with. And then I see the 5 people I work with. No, it's like fine. A lot of people have fewer people, so like, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Like, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to see a lot of people, but like, yeah, it's like a weird time where like you're used to like going to school every day and like people. There's continuity from the day before to the next day. You go to work every day. There's continuity from the day before to the next.
I am.
I wasn't
continuity.
saying it. I wasn't saying it negatively and like judging you about it, or whatever. But like, I tried to totally be a Twitter person. It's just not for me. Because I felt so bad because, like, you were totally into it. And you're like, baby, get Twitter. You do your Twitter. Because, like, there's so many things I can send you. Blah. And it was, like, it was another way of communicating with you technologically. And I just, like, I still
Wait, did you
think
tweet
about
Jordan?
it sometimes.
Did you guys tweet each other?
No, like, I have no presence on Twitter. Like, I made one, but I'm not active on it. I stopped going on it. I don't know if I have the apps. I don't even remember if it's still on my phone, whatever. But, like, then I just felt bad because, like, oh, man, like, what if that was the way you wanted to, like, connect with me? And I was just like, damn it. I was like, because, like, I just don't like, I don't know.
I'd rather
like,
just not connect with you because you don't get it. I'd rather you just not. No, it's fine. I'd rather you just
I
like not
understand
get
that.
it.
Yeah,
I'd rather just enjoy it with my friends and enjoy it with myself.
Yeah.
People don't even like me on Twitter. Like, people don't like my tweets. So, like, I just literally go on Twitter for my own,
I think it's healthy.
like,
I think it's healthy that we have separate worlds. Yes, especially because of, like, that's the only way we can have it right now in a pandemic. So I totally understood what you said. And I'm not insulted by it at all. I agree. Just claiming the air. Like, this is, I understand.
And you can take that to the Twitter.
Because I don't want people like, oh my god, like.
I just want people
The
to know
tabloids
something.
are gonna say Reena and Jordan are breaking up.
Okay, first of all, I'd be like, tabloids?
The
What tabloids? Who the fuck's covering me?
You want an exclusive interview?
Are you
Sorry,
kidding me?
Leah.
It's not that interesting.
Wait, Leah, what's your proclamation? You
I
wanna make?
want the audience to know that you were dancing and shimmying to what Jordan said as if it was music. It was so good. Like, it was genuinely as if you heard it as a song.
Yeah, it felt that way. You know, I've been very inspired with Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer's the video of them dancing in "Calling by Your Name to No Music," and I'm like, you can dance to things that are not music.
Wow.
And
I love
Armie
that film
Hammer,
so much.
no longer with the agency. Shia LaBeouf, no longer with the agency.
yeah,
Times are a changing.
We're not gonna talk
I mean,
about that
lots.
stuff right now.
Say it for
no, we're
movies.
not going to talk about
No, we can
cannibalism.
talk about it if you want to.
No, we don't have to talk about it.
I just feel like
Yeah, I'm over
so
it
many
already.
people have
I'm
talked
over it.
about Armie Hammer now. It's been eaten to death. I mean, beaten to death.
Wait,
You son of a gun.
I have an
You did
idea
that
that
on
doesn't
purpose.
involve cannibals.
oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Okay, so we can all go around and say what the first impression was of each person the first time we met.
Okay, like every person in the world, or who, or
Each other.
okay.
Yes, Brendan, go down the list. Start.
Okay.
You start.
Okay, the doctor. He reached for me with rubber hands and said, "Come here, baby."
My impression was he had a really big head.
What? Oh,
The doctor,
sorry.
because your angle from the baby. Wow, I can't believe I'm explaining this.
I
right
thought you were doing
now.
the impression of when you met me, and I was like,
no.
what?
Your
Oh
angle
my
from the
god.
baby?
Yeah.
What?
The baby
What's
angle.
No, the baby's point of view. Aren't you the baby
I
coming into
am.
the world, right? So
I
then
am
I
the
can't believe I'm
baby.
explaining this right
Yeah.
now. I did just whatever. Fuck you. We're moving on.
All right. So impressions of each other. All right.
First impressions.
Okay, you go first. You decided to do this.
Well, doesn't she go last because she came up with the game?
Okay,
Yeah,
alright, I
thanks,
guess that's
Jordan.
how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Or does she have to be the first person out there? Like, is Elon Musk going to be the first person on Mars?
So all right. So an impression of Elon Musk.
No, I'm joking. Let's go with Brendan because he's.
Yeah, you go, Brendan.
All right. So my impressions of everyone, or everyone gives their impressions of me, and Brick.
Well, how did you intend it? One
Like,
person saying about the other
We
three,
all-
or
I
vice
think
versa?
all of
us
us
three
each
about
have a
saying
turn.
one.
Is
So,
that right?
okay.
We're being too high right now.
No, I know what
I mean, I
know what I
understand
was.
it.
I know what I was intending.
I get it. I get
So it'll be someone's turn. Like if it's Jordan's turn, then first you, Brendan, you say what your first impression was. Then I'll say what mine was, and then Reena, and then once that's over.
Oh, okay.
So how do we know whose turn it is?
Brendan's
Do we roll
turn.
some dice?
All right. So my impression of.
Oh, no, who's the oldest?
Wait,
Oh, wait, we
I'm
have to play the
thinking
game.
of a number between
Okay.
1 and
Yes.
50, and whoever's closest to my number goes first.
All right.
Okay, I got my number.
Me too.
37.
Mine was 36.
Go away. It's not. Wait.
It was 36.
Well,
I
why
started
we say
at-
36? So now I got it.
That's
No,
just some.
you
That's just
started
some
at-
Aries bullshit.
Yeah.
It's an Aries. I was just gonna say that.
Whatever.
Oh my god, Jordan can read my mind. Okay, so it's Jordan's turn first. Brendan, you go.
All right, first impression of Jordan: long hair. That was the first thing I saw in Jordan is his beautiful hair. And he came in, and I immediately I developed a friend crush on Jordan. And I remember this might have been either this is probably one of the first couple of days I hung out with Jordan. But I remember sitting in LA, and I was just and we were talking about baseball, and I had not really watched baseball regularly. When I was a kid, I watched it a lot, and then around 16, 17, I stopped watching. But I was Jordan was very into baseball, and I was like, all right, I was like, here we go, guys. And so we started talking about baseball, and I was just pulling every bit of my knowledge of baseball out to so that was my. And also, Jordan had a T-shirt on. I remember that.
When you first met him.
Yes.
When was that?
Wait, what t-shirt?
He auditioned for an improv troupe.
Which
and,
t-shirt?
That was.
It was-
That was the one I was at.
Probably.
Was our audition the first one you went to at Rhino?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So then we met. So we met Jordan on the same day.
Oh my god.
But I met you the year before.
Yes.
Or not the year before. That was a couple months or something.
Okay, so Leah, your
but my
impression
first
of
impression
Jordan.
of Jordan was I thought you were a California surfer guy. And I thought that you were
He grew up in Warwick.
I know. But then he told me that, and I was like, oh my god, I grew up in Vernon. But it was like what I said before, where Maria asked me to introduce myself, and I don't remember what I said, but like Jordan laughed really loud and hard at it, whereas like everyone else like laughed or whatever, but I felt like he was really like getting me, you know, and I thought he like, cause your voice is so distinct, and I was like, oh, he'd be good like voice actor. Like, you sound like a character from a movie that someone would put on, but it's you.
Yeah.
Okay, Reena.
My first. I want to be as private as possible. Because this is
What a setup.
So how was the sex?
There goes that.
I'm just kidding.
I was just like, yeah, this is a real attractive dude. I'm attracted to this guy. He seems super chill. We're gonna have a good night. That was my he finds this weird because I say it, but there was instant thing I picked up where I'm just like, oh, I'm not with a harmful person. I'm just like, I'm in a very safe situation. I have total control over the situation. Because Jordan was nothing but a gentleman, and I was just like, wow, I was not a doubt in my mind of ever, and I did pretty sketchy shit when I was online dating.
Meeting Jordan was the end of your sketchy phase?
She stopped being sketchy and started doing sketches. Comedy sketches.
That's true, yeah. Literally. And then it was a whole group of friends, and then the whole world of doing improv and comedy together. But that's that's just forming a friendship.
Yeah. I'm usually people's artist phase.
All right,
but
Jordan.
you were kind of an artist, so
Thank you.
I guess you didn't go through a phase. We just worked together.
No, I went through a phase. You definitely go through a phase when you first meet.
Yeah.
Any new person. Your impression of yourself, go. Okay, I guess it goes to
Wait,
the
that would
left.
be interesting. What is the furthest back impression of myself? I don't even know. What do I remember back to?
Your first judgment of yourself, or your first self-analyzing moment.
Yeah, I just always think I was a shy kid who felt confident inside. I think that was my impression of myself as a kid.
Well, I think you know yourself really well.
I guess so.
I think you're the one who knows the best, of yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, no, some people, I feel like some people know, the best of I don't know, know someone deeper than themselves. Or I'm totally confusing myself. So many times I'm saying self.
You really know yourself. Only
But
when
I
you
feel
know
some
yourself.
people, my mom knows me better than me. Sometimes that's what I mean to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right, so let's go to Reena.
Yes, Reena. Do you want to do your impression of Reena?
I guess I can start out. So, Reena was very interesting because she came after a lot of, not failed first dates, but a lot of first dates that didn't go anywhere.
It was a very common topic of conversation with me.
Oh,
it was
yeah?
who are you, who did you go out with, what's going on?
And I would just be there was no connection. We talked for an hour or two, and this is not talking about Reena. But other people.
Oh, no, we also did not have sparks when we first met.
Hey, let me give my first impression.
Well, I'm going back to I'm including that in mine too, though. There was,
no, Reena's gonna make sure that we get all the facts right about all
because I
ours.
didn't say that before, but that was, I did not think I was gonna hang out with it again. I was just totally not my type, not interested. But I'm glad
That's completely different from what you just said.
No, but I thought both things. You can go through a feeling of one thing, but then have thoughts what.
But you thought you were never gonna see. You didn't even have an inkling of this could be someone in my life.
Is someone in my life what?
On a longer term basis. Because you don't just have your romantic connection, or whatever. You also have.
We just had first impression.
You
didn't
say
to connect. I'm trying to just keep my details because I do not want to. I'm high, and I really I just want to remind everyone. I don't like I really do not want to reveal a lot of like intention or like how or like I don't know. There's specifics I just want to keep private. Like I actually don't want to just tell because it's Leah, but we're on a podcast, so I'm gonna be like, okay, if I'm gonna dive too deep into some shit because we're
Reena.
talking
You tell me later.
as friends, but
Reena, people have to pay for LNH Plus if they want to get the real good juicy
get that
details.
subscription.
Yeah.
Check out our OnlyFans.
Yeah. Only helps.
But anyway, sorry,
Jordan
Jordan.
needs to finish. Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, so my first impression of Reena, I was gonna go out on a date with her, which I was like, oh, this should be like interesting, like because we met on Bumble.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she was just like, hey, what if I just pick up Chipotle and come to your house and then we go bowling afterwards with my friends? And I was like, weird, but yeah, cool. Like we can do that. I was working like my most steady like 9-to-5 job. I was like, yeah, like I hate my life. Let's do this. So then she came over and we ate Chipotle off the floor of my room. And
they were in bowls, not off the floor.
In bowls,
like,
yeah.
in, like we were just sitting on the ground eating.
You don't eat Chipotle off.
Clear
just,
that up.
It doesn't just come on the floor. You get a little kind of recyclable, kind of like just compostable containers.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
so right.
No,
yeah.
but I definitely like did not feel like a deep connection with you in the first impression. But I was like, the weirdness of the situation was like comforting because I was like, the fact that this was so weird and like so forward makes me think that this might go somewhere. Because
Yeah,
like so
I
many
immediately
people, I
felt
would just
very
say stuff and then people would politely just
Obviously.
keep talking to me and never want to hang out with me again. And I was just like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you're a very positive person. But like, Reena was literally the Dark Lord. I know
That's
you but like, just she has like a dark sense of humor, and I was like, if
That's
she could
my
deal with
mom's
my dark
nickname.
sense of humor,
That's my
like
mom's nickname for me, and that's on my. That used to be my Gmail account.
If you email Reena, you'll
It
sometimes
still
get Dark
says it.
Lord.
I don't know why it's attached. I made it when I was in high school, and then obviously it kept saying I was a fucking. It was a bad move.
No, that's gonna age
That's
so
why
well.
I'm rejected by so many jobs.
But like, if you catch Reena at certain
this
times,
hacker?
she's like very, very like the most chill person you'll ever meet in your
I'm
life.
losing it.
But she's also like sometimes the most efficient person you'll ever meet in your life, and the most like businessy person you'll ever meet in your life. So like, I think I definitely got like the most chill Reena, which I was happy because she was working like a full-time job and like also was probably stressed with her full-time job. So like, I'm glad I got chill Reena, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad that we just got to chill, which is what we both needed when we met.
Do you remember that I was at your house the night that you hung out with her? Like, did you hang out with her during the day? Or was it the next day
It was
that I
probably
was
the
at your
next
house?
day. It was the next day.
And we
yeah.
were like eating, we ordered Chinese food with Heather. And we were like sitting in Maria's kitchen and I was interrogating you about Reena, who I didn't even know her name was Reena at the time.
Good to know I was in private from the get-go. To know I was talked about.
Only
Get
with my
It's the tabloids, Reena. It's the
only with my close friends. Only with my close friends.
But me and him always discussed like his, like I was like, okay, who are you dating? Like, who do you like? You know how I am with my investigative questions.
No.
And I'm like,
I
who-
understand.
like,
No.
Did you go on a date with that girl? What happened?
But
Blah,
like,
blah, blah.
listen, I like totally respect that you guys had a very close friendship before I came into the picture. That's the thing I think that too is just like, oh yeah, like when you're meeting that person and then you start figuring out, oh, we're forming a relationship or figuring out what this is, and then you're just like, oh yeah, these are the other people that this person interacted with, and they did blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He seems stoked.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is it my turn for my
Yeah.
impression of Reena? Like, I'm Reena. No, my...
He's so accurate.
I know, yeah, thank you.
Uncanny.
I can only do Reena impressions, though, so unless you know Reena, that won't help you. But anyway, my first impression of Reena was as an improviser, which is a very cool thing. Well, I guess, like, as an audience member. Okay, so Reena came to one of Jordan's improv shows, and, like, that was the first time I met Reena. And so Reena, like, it was like sitting there and like was like among the masses of people that were there for the performance, and then afterwards we had an open jam where anyone could perform, and so like Reena got up there and like I was watching her perform and I was like sometimes like there's like a wide variety, like a wide range of talent at jams, just because like there's beginners, people who've never done it before, and then there's people who have done it a lot, and like when you see someone who's like doing it really well, you're just like, is this a ringer? Like who brought this person? So like, and then we found out later on that like that, or I think I found out later on. I don't know if everyone else found out. I definitely found out later on that like that her and Jordan were like seeing each other and that she came to see the show. But she was very good as an improviser. And then and then also, I did an interview for something for like a character profile for Jordan for something, and they asked like what kind of people he was interested in, and I made a very bold assumption that was very boldly wrong, and I said, oh well, he's like seeing this like Hispanic girl right now, so, and that was about Reena, who, if you don't know Reena is not of any Hispanic nature, so.
No, I'm Iranian.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was off.
Yeah. Also glasses though.
But we hung out at Olay after the show, and that's when I talked a lot, and that's when I really got to know you, Harry, and Dan.
Yes. Yeah.
And Bert, and yeah, so that was really awesome. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so nervous for that night. I really did want to go with a friend because I'm like such a shy, timid motherfucker, but like so introverted that way where it's just like there's so many things that I should have just like not been nervous about and just did on my own. But this, I was like happy I went out on my own that night because then it was like one-on-one connections with a lot of people where it's like, okay, cool, wow, yeah, they know me as like usually people know me with my twin because we do things a lot together when younger, and it's just like, oh, this is, it's kind of like, oh, this is what it feels like to be known as an individual.
Yeah, I think at one point I was like, wow, Reena, it's so nice to get to meet you. I'm glad that you're not a twin at all. And then Reena got really nervous about it, and then no, but
started sweating. Anyway.
Yeah, that didn't happen, but yeah.
Thanks.
That's
Reena. Cool.
That was when we closed the anti-twin meeting room at Rhino.
Right.
Like, if Reena's a twin, maybe we should disband.
Cut it off.
Yeah. Well, wait, Leah. What was your? So you like? We know that you like the rumblings of the Reena were heard by you, but what was your first impression of Reena?
I did not introduce Reena to her as that person. I think it was separated. Yeah.
No, but when I saw, because at first
I talked about Reena the romantic person separately from Reena the improviser. They were separate people.
Yes, I didn't realize that she was that girl. Actually, the first few times that I saw her in person, like I just thought she was like another person that was kind of like hanging out around Rhino and like slowly integrating, you know, and stuff like that. And then because you had said like the day that you met her or the next day, like I said like, oh, she's a comedy or at all, and you were like, oh yeah, she does, like I think she does improv or something. And then like all of a sudden I put it together and I was like, wait, is that her? And I think because like it was hard for me to have my own first impression because I was like, ooh, like that, like that's the girl that Jordan is seeing. Like, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But I do remember our first conversation, the first real conversation that I had with you, and it was like it was dark in Rhino for some reason. Do you remember that? Like I remember it was like the lights were dimmed or something.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
For some reason.
I thought you were saying like off. I was like, I don't remember the lights being off.
Do you remember when we said pitch black the first conversation we had?
How dark was it? Sorry, go on.
No, I just thought that because I asked you about your job and like your life and stuff, and you had just quit or I don't know when you quit, but you told me that like the same thing basically that you said earlier today, where you told me you're like, yeah, I quit my job because I didn't want to do that. Like I wanted to do comedy and film and stuff like that, and so that's what I'm focusing on right now. And I was like, oh, cool, she's my people, because like I've always taken that alternate route, and you know, like office environment is definitely not for me and stuff like that. So I completely relate to, you know, it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid or whatever. You have to enjoy your daily life and go for the things that you want to do, you know. So yeah, I was happy for Jordan, and I was like, oh, she's cool, but when I saw you perform, I was like, this is a whole different ballgame now. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're so talented, and it was just like a different level of that, like connection and respect and stuff like that. Because because being funny and being good at comedy to me is like impressive than most other things. It's like very difficult.
Agreed.
So yeah.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, if someone giving a first impression of being like a good improviser is definitely I wish that I could meet everyone while improvising. It's like I was like, no, don't talk to me. I'll see you later.
That's true. That would be a cool experience.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just sometimes you get friendly with people and then you find out they're not somebody you want to improvise with.
Yeah. Yeah, there often is an interesting correlation between how a person is as an improviser and what they do on stage
and how quick they are to pull a knife on you.
Oh my god. Memories.
Memories of the knife that got pulled out. The improv.
So now is it
Lia?
Lia's turn.
Yeah. Me first? I'll go first?
Sure.
Alright, cool. So I met Lia. We were at the dance loft above the Lafayette Theater in Suffern. And we were doing, there was like improv jams that were kind of, like, not, that were happening often, but there was like a period of time where people were being invited in who were like to come do improv with all the people who were associated with Rhino. And Lia was one of the people who I've invited in because she was a Ramapo student, and so she was invited. And so I remember, I feel like my memory of that is like mystery, because I don't think we really talked like very much. We probably did improv together, which like there we go. So I got to meet you as like doing improv, which also is like, again, it's the best case scenario of how to meet someone. But did we? What kind of conversation did we have, if you remember, if we had one?
The thing is, like, I was really shy because I thought you guys were so good, and I was like I just didn't want to say the wrong thing, so I kind of kept to myself because I was actually, my friend was supposed to come with me that day, but I was alone, and also Maria didn't let me know that it was a jam. Like, I thought that I was going to a show, and so like I also wasn't really dressed for improv. Like, I wasn't like completely not dressed for it because obviously I ended up doing it, but. I didn't really know, and like it's a good thing that I'm like good on my feet and stuff because I was like,
what do you mean, you had a dress on or something?
I did have a dress. Like it was like a dress, I think, with leggings underneath.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like, and I remember definitely like during, because I was just like, okay, like I'm really nervous around these people because they're so good, but just like fuck it. And I definitely was like on the floor, like I was doing all kinds of shit that day. Do you remember?
I always wear pants. Always wear pants and closed-toed shoes. I can't do that because it's being very like physically active too. Yeah. I don't know if you don't know the situation you'll be in.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on the spot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Anything could happen.
I think you came over and introduced yourself to me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a normal thing to do.
Yeah, I will say the most unnormal part of that is that like, so part of like us like training, because like we were did like a lot of branding stuff and like a lot of things about how to like present yourself and how to be a good like host.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of new people coming in at that time. Like, that was also part of, like, a dry run of, like, use these hosting skills. So I was like, all right, gotta make a good first impression, gotta, like, put the hand in the right place, do the handshake right, but also a part of it was, like, just, like, being genuine and being open to, like, meeting new people and being ready to, like, engage with them, so.
I feel like you complimented me on something I did. I can't remember what, though, but I remember immediately I was just, like, you had such good energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have good energy, like, radiating out of your pores.
Yes.
So it's like, I was definitely, like, took notice of you as somebody that I would probably want to be friends with, you know what I mean? Like, over some other people in the room, no shade at anybody, but, like, you know how sometimes you just, like, connect with certain people differently than other people, you know? So, yeah, but that was such a good day. Like, I loved everybody. It was so... Like, when Maria asked me to audition, I was, like, so honored. Because I was like, wow, these people are so good.
Yeah, no, you were good. It definitely is easy to remember people who are really, really bad at improv, and then it's also really easy to remember people who are really, really good at improv. So you fall in the latter of that. So, and that is a part of my first memory of you, first impression of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I'm Lia.
That's how I sound.
That's my last impression.
Jordan?
I actually don't think Lia and I were at the same auditions, but I might be wrong.
We were.
We were?
Jordan forgot me.
I don't know. I guess I must have been, like, very zoned in, and, like, I always feel really insecure at auditions, but, like, yeah. I don't know. I think just, like, when I met Lia, I just got, like, this pretty girl energy. Like, I think it's just because you're an actress. Like, you were, like, the most put together person who was, like, prepared to be, like, I am at a professional, like, thing. I am, like, ready to go. And I was like, damn, like, I feel like this person is going to be... I got an energy that is not you whatsoever. Not that you're not pretty, but like
this is how you tell me I'm vibing.
No, but I got like an energy. Like, I thought you were gonna be very stuck up and like you've said that people get this impression of you sometimes, like everybody thinks you're gonna cheat on their boyfriends with them. Like you get that kind of energy from people sometimes.
Yeah, no.
Like when they meet you,
People
but like
will say to me like, "Oh, I thought you were a bitch, but then I got to know you and you're so nice." I'm like, "Okay, what does looking like a bitch mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Like, do I intimidate you? I don't know."
These are very good questions. Anytime I meet one of Bina's friends, Bina always tells me they're frightened of you. I'm like, what do you mean they're frightened of me? Honestly, anytime, and then like she talks whatever, and then they meet me. There's like, I don't know. I honestly like it. I like that aura. It's just become. I've just like owned it. But like, so don't. It's okay, Leah. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I feel you and understand, but people just have a. I honestly.
People gotta meet scarier people. If you think Reena's scary, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, Reena. Like you're the boss, but also there's scary
people.
people.
No, but people, that just feel like you're just like mean, but you're not. But yeah, I don't know.
I guess confidence can be read as meanness or scariness.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think also like I think I just expected you to like not be about what I was saying. And, like, I forgot that we were in, like a team of comedians. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, everybody's going to have a sense of humor here and everybody's going to be funny. Yeah. But I, like, went into the situation being like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get along. I feel like she doesn't like me. It wasn't that I didn't like your humor, but I was like, I don't think she's going to like me as a person.
Mm. Why?
I don't know. I think that's just, like, how I see myself in the world.
But so what, do you remember what happened?
Also, like, you were very clearly, like, one of the most, like, theatrical people and the most, like, actory people. And, like, I went to those auditions and, like, was getting into the troupe because I was like, I am going to be an actor one day. I am going to be a comedian one day. Mm. And, like, not that it's intimidating, but, like, you notice, like, who are the people who have very clearly done this a lot? Who are the people, like, what are people's skills? Like, you start to size people up and you're like, oh, okay, this person's really good at this. This person's really good at this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So do you remember what we were talking about or what happened where you were like, oh, she's actually, like, my kind of person and this vibe that I got is wrong?
I think, like, as I got to know you, I was just friends with you, and there was, like, never an issue. Like, I feel like our talking together was very smooth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, like, talking about movies and stuff like that. Also, it was just fun to do scenes with you. You would say the craziest shit in scenes. So, like, that would be just interesting. And then over time, I was just like, oh, yeah, I, like, really enjoyed doing comedy with all the people in my troupe. And, like, it was really fun to just be in that group all together. And I gained, like, friendships and relationships with everybody separately in the troupe, it felt like, you know? Yeah. Because, like, yeah, everybody was just very cool and, like, we were hanging out a lot. So it was, like, good. But I feel like we definitely took a while to become close, but then once we were close, like, it's just been natural ever since then. Like, we just get each other since we've gotten through that initial, like, layer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Icebreakers.
Yeah, icebreakers are key.
Okay, my turn. I definitely got, like, a similar vibe of thinking... well, no, I can't say that. At first, I definitely was intimidated when I met Leah. And then I was just like... Okay. I was just like figuring this person out. But, like, the thing is, I knew that, like, you were close friends with Jordan before I met you. And no, listen, and it was just like, well, I trust his judgment. Even early on, I don't know. It was just like, okay, he's like seems like a cool dude. So, like, I trust, like, his judgment of, I don't know, people. Like, you just be like, oh, he must be friends with this person for a reason. Like, who is this person? Like, what? How's, like, what's the? And then, like, just getting to know you, and it's just like a lot of things I respect you for, and then I'm
why were you
also, I saw the first thing I saw you was doing improv, and, like, when you're out there with everybody, and it was a surprise show, he didn't know I was going, and then it was like just seeing you, like, just seeing the whole group too, like, when we were just talking about, like, friendships and meeting people, like, they're all, like, there's just, like, so great to see, like, a great group of improvisers who, like, click with each other. You could definitely tell the Mutts was like, you guys were, like, close, or, like, you know, you did have, like, a chemistry. So like that was cool. Like all the members are very. But yeah, and then you just like you as an individual, as like a single improviser, it was just entertaining. You're just very entertaining.
I'm gonna put doesn't have pretty girl energy on my team. Don't worry, guys. I don't have that energy. But I feel like I try to be so like nice. What like or I don't know. Like why was I intimidating?
I think you're just
I
mysterious.
didn't say
I think a lot of
pretty
people
girl.
tell you everything. A lot of people tell that like everything about themselves when you meet them, or like in the first couple of times of meeting them. And I feel like I did not know a lot about you for a while. I don't know about other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I don't know. I think just like when you going into any situation when you're about like going to meet someone like so even like people who like are the least judgmental like you start to like kind of like get this like concept of what you think this person is and like it's like cool when when people's expectations are subverted like when you're from Warwick instead of California or people think that you're going to be a certain kind of person and then it's like oh wow like you like are it's like the same thing with watching a movie where you're like oh when characters break tropes and cliches about like people like it's like nice and I guess like maybe it's like maybe especially with the intimidation thing I think people like don't always know
I didn't say intimidation as an insult.
no I think
it's a compliment.
Yeah.
Like it's because you have like a certain way about you that it is confidence, it is your boldness. There's definitely like a lot of people just aren't like that. I don't know. So it was just like I didn't want to get on your bad side, to be honest. Like I was just not in a negative way where it's just like, oh, I want to be like you know, just like friends with this person and then how to do I don't know I just like I thought you were
didn't want to get on my bad side so I give like a don't fuck with me energy.
Yeah,
that's
really
that's not but why is that a problem?
That's not
a problem.
It's not
I'm saying like giving that vibe where it's just like okay you're real like you're not about fake shit and like what is I don't know it was just like then like I was just curious about like it was just like that's how I don't know that's just how you roll.
Yeah.
And,
well, the reason I mean I probably sound so narcissistic asking like more and more questions about myself, but like I because I do get this kind of thing like kind of often, and to the point where like my new upstairs roommate she couldn't move in right away, so her boyfriend moved in first to like hold the place for her, and I guess like he was like really afraid of like bothering me. Like he's super nice, like awesome. Like even if he listened to this right now, I wouldn't be like worried that he's like what like he's hearing me talk about him. Like he was I guess he was like worried about like bothering me or whatever. And she said that he told her that I look like the kind of person who could ruin his life if I wanted to.
God.
And I was like, I thought I was being so nice. You know, I mean, not like, because I didn't say anything to him. Like, don't talk. I was like, you can use any of my stuff. I don't care. Just like, you know, because we share the kitchen only. Like, they have their own place and I have my own place. So it's like, I was like, yeah, just like wash it, whatever. Like, and she's like, I don't think it means that you're not nice, but she's like, I just told him that you're like really blunt and like honest and stuff. But I didn't even feel like anything happened. So like, I don't know why he thinks I could ruin his life.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, but I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. It's good. Yeah. It's good to not want to destroy someone's life. Yeah.
No, I definitely
Okay,
not.
Brendan. Oh no, you go. No, wait.
No,
yeah,
Beefton.
Brendan.
Well, we have to do Beefton.
We have to. That's what
Everyone, do it.
Everyone do.
I can go first.
Okay.
My impression of Beefton was when I went to the auditions, and he was also a long-haired person, and I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna make this troupe, because I thought I was auditioning for his troupe, so I was like, this is bad, because we probably play the same exact types. So I was just like, why would they want to take me? They're like, this kid is just gonna be like, he's not gonna want me in the group because he's gonna obviously be like, this guy's gonna take all of my parts from me because he's gonna be the same exact parts.
Person.
Yeah.
And I think that was also like a funny thing because like that was basically the first impression. Like you were just friendly, and like I was like, oh, he's a cool guy because he thought to have long hair too, and I was like, fuck this guy for having the long hair because like I was the long hair guy in most of my circles. So like to have another long haired person that took away my uniqueness. But it's also funny because like there was a long time after we met where like people would always confuse us just because we hung out together and because they might have met us when our hair was the same length. Then we both cut our hair like one after the other in like a couple of weeks' time. But then it got to a very clear point where like people knew us both long enough that like when they would confuse us, they would be like, "You guys are not the same people. I should not confuse you guys. Like this is bad that I confused you guys." Like it used to just be an honest mistake where people were just like, "Yeah, it's just like sometimes I confuse them." But then like people got like offended by themselves, like, and I was like, "All right," like
It's so funny. I remember the first time he was telling me because I asked him a question of like, "What was his first impression of you?" And it's just so funny.
Yeah, there was a period of time where Jordan and I were going by the singular name Brendan O'Jordan, and like we literally would send out these these emails for like film projects we were working on. We would sign it as Brendan O'Jordan.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, there's a lot. Leah has a lot of those emails.
I definitely have them.
Yeah, so
You guys were like so cute together in a non-gay way from the beginning. Like I just loved you guys as a unit and individually.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
like you knew there was something special there. Where it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the, yeah.
Wait, so do you,
I'm sorry for ruining it.
No, that's okay. We'll get to you later. No, we get to you already. Wait, do you think we do a lot of the same characters now after, like, having improvised and, like...
No, we're completely different people, and our sensibilities are completely different, and our experiences
Your
are completely different.
Your comedies are very
The only thing that's the same about us is that we both grew up in Warwick.
That's right! That's right!
That was honestly the craziest thing, too, is, like... to find out that there were two people who were interested in comedy who grew up in the town next to me. Fine, I'll say
you heard it. You heard it here first, guys.
But no, Leah grew up in Vernon, and like Brendan grew up in Greenwood Lake, Warwick, same thing. But
we all grew up within a couple miles of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like my whole life, I was the only person who was like interested in this comedy stuff and interested in like this theater stuff and interested in this like film stuff, like in this kind of way, and then to find like two other people who lived right there the whole time, and I could have been hanging out with them my whole life.
We all could have hung out when we were little kids.
I do like wonder if I ever like played sports with Brendan since he was in Warwick sports.
Yeah, because we did have people that we knew from playing sports that we talked about, like, oh, there's a couple people who
he has a late birthday.
Yeah, yep.
And he's 2 years older, so he would make the cutoff because I would beat the cutoff as a young person, and he would be behind the cutoff.
Yeah, it's very possible. There was also times where I'd play at fields, like on one side playing baseball, and then there would be another field that was connected. And I would always like think, I'm like, I wonder, like I would like think about those other people on the field, like on the other game, and then I would get yelled at because then I would strike out. And so, because I was not very good at baseball, so I was like always drifting off. But yeah, so maybe Jordan was one of those people who was off in the distance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Leah? Thoughts of
well, I kind of already said it when we
I guess we
just
did.
Just say it again, please.
Anything to add, but in case like you did not say everything you wanted to in that time span.
You just had like unbelievable energy, and I feel like with you, because I knew that like I just knew that you were like my type of person. I feel like because you actually were the first person to follow me on Instagram from Reno, and I was like, oh my god, that's like a good sign, because they must. I'm sure they weren't. It wasn't like you guys were like, oh, she sickens me,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's a good sign.
Ew, gross. Still gonna follow her though.
Right. I guess you never know.
Yeah.
People do that.
Yeah.
People do that.
Oh yeah.
But like, I feel like it was almost as if we were already friends, but we weren't, because I felt like because I already had felt that we were going to be friends, I didn't like talk to you as much, because it was almost as if I was like, oh, I know that like he and I are going to be friends, so like I should like get to know this person that I don't get any vibe whatsoever from. You know what I mean? Like, who is this person? And then I feel like all of a sudden one day, like you and I were just like, we just happened to be like sitting together, and we just ended up talking for like 2 hours, and I was like, yeah, I was totally right about this person. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You like, first thing I was like, oh my god, this person is so sweet, like super duper nice and fucking hilarious. Like that was it. And then that
wasn't scary. Did I scare anybody?
That was it. Where I was just like, oh man, like I don't know, just like the way I joke with you is like the way I joke with my brother. So it's like very Yeah. It was just like, also because you're just a few years older. I mean Yeah,
Yeah.
you're old, man. You're so freaking old.
Yeah, we're all
You're
so in our
old.
20s.
but it was just like yeah, it was just instant. It was just very like, it's like, okay, cool, awesome. Yes, so many AMC and taco hangouts.
Yeah. Reena notoriously used to bring tacos or bring out tacos from the bathroom. We don't know where they came from, but she would walk out of the AMC bathroom.
We know where they came from.
We don't know. We'd see Reena go into the bathroom, then come out with a taco.
I had Taco Bell, and I always
She put tacos in her
keep
pocket.
it in my. I have a jean jacket where it's pockets, 2 pockets inside, 2 pockets outside, 2 pockets like, and then I would just keep it on the inside so like it doesn't show when like I'm bringing in a taco into the theater. Eat it while we're watching so many great movies. So,
sneaking food into movies. What a
I don't regret it.
I don't regret it either.
Oh, never. I one point was.
Can't wait to do it again.
I used to carry a bucket
One
day I bought a bucket, like one of the large, really expensive buckets of popcorn, and I like ate it and like enjoyed the movie that I watched, whatever it was. And then for an entire summer, I brought that bucket with me, and I would buy my own popcorn. Like I would buy like Smart Food popcorn or some shit. I would put candy and I would like put like things in there and smuggle it in, acting like I bought popcorn that day for the movie.
Wow.
Oh my god, you genius.
Yeah.
Dope.
But then started like the things started like kind of getting old because for an entire summer.
True.
So then I had to get rid of it, but it saved me a lot of money and snacks.
Wow.
Smarty pants.
And I think that's probably a good place to end this podcast.
Yeah.
Snacks, 'cause
Yeah.
we're all really
We're
hungry
starving,
because
yeah.
we've been stoned for 2 hours
Thanks
now.
for listening to another episode of Sessions with Mary Jane, and thank you, Leah, for being on the show.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the memories, also, everyone.
And
Like all of
thank
the
you.
nice
It's
things.
Very successful with life in general.
Thank you for inviting me on, and I love everyone in this room.
Yeah. You're the first lady in our hearts, Leah.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Right? Huh?
I'm ashamed that I only named, 11?
Yeah.
Hey.
So wait, who does anyone have any more? Who did I?
Abigail Adams.
No, but you can't
Oh.
just name.
Oh, yeah, no.
Well,
that's the only one.
it's done.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not writing anymore.
What's the name of Abraham Lincoln's wife?
Oh, Mary Todd.
Yeah, that was one that
one
you
I knew. I knew.
didn't
I knew it was
get.
in
Yeah,
there or
that I
something.
thought you would
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely like sometimes like so you got like all the modern ones basically, right? So like that's like the ones that you like live through. So like as long as you get that,
That's the one. That's exactly. Got the ones that matter to you.
that's right. And
All right.
Washington.
Signing off.